Welcome to the show. This isn't how I expected it to start. Dr. Fax, I had the whole front of the show like ready. It was like a runway for him to land the plane and like just shit all over us and talk about the Jags. Like legit. Last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
I sat there and I laid the show out, and we were like, I was like mental gymnastics trying to get the Jags first. Right.
We were mapping out multiple scenarios. Like, well, if we put this here, then like it goes there, and then if we move this around.
So the show's about to start just 20 seconds ago, and Nate goes, shit, I got to run back out. I got this Facebook marketplace thing. I'm like, wait, right now? He's like, yeah.
Bro, I figured he'd be ready like in studio like 6 a.m. just.
No, he's had a hectic couple days, but the Facebook marketplace deal must be. He's like, he just no bullshit. This is showbiz, man. This is showbiz. My dog Nate, who it's his big day, and we've actually. Can somebody figure out how long this deal's gonna take?
Yeah, I text him when he'll be back. But
do you know?
I do not. He didn't text back yet. But,
okay.
We can hit the curveball.
But the most important thing is,
what's the dog of the day?
We got a couple dogs of the day.
Dog of the day. Welcome to the preview show. First, before we give you the dogs of the day, I'm Chris Long. I'm your host. I'm joined by Dr. Fax, who's doing a Facebook marketplace deal, and
that was incredible.
That was wild, dude.
That was
incredible.
Like,
oh fuck. We do this ticker here to start the show. Somebody said Fax buying a 2-stroke engine airplane. Oh, love my dog Fax. I don't know what's going on, but he sits there usually, so you'll see him in a minute. There's Fax. There's Nolan.
What up?
Man, the lettuce is looking good today, dude.
Thank you.
I don't know if you put some extra English on it, but it's fucking.
This is the usual English.
That's some incredible lettuce there. And then we got Cowboy sitting there. He's sad. I'm sad for him.
It's a bummer.
The Broncos, man, they just.
Hey, but we're bouncing back, dude. No one thought we were going to be in this spot. We're going to bounce back.
You got such a good attitude, man.
Bounce back, baby.
It's like my attitude. That I absolutely took a beating this weekend. BetMGM. And I'll tell you when I take a beating. I took a beating last night, and it culminated in that Sunday night game. It's all perspective, guys. What did I tell you after I lost all that money last night? Do you remember? It's a life lesson. You guys let this jewel slip
Yeah,
through
we
your
just.
head.
I do remember you said we're all gonna die one day.
Yeah.
That's right. When you start telling yourself that money is a social construct, you've lost some of it. And that's what I was doing last night. And then we got Tanner behind the. It does help, like when you're like, damn, dude, that fucking BetMGM just took me to the cleaners.
Nate said he'll be back in 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay,
Yep.
we got a 4-minute countdown till all hell breaks loose in this place. And Nate takes us through the ringer on this Jaguars win. But dog of the day.
Dog of the day.
Let's do it. And Bo's inside the computer. It looks like it's snowing.
Yeah. How's my mic, my mobile setup? Let me know if it needs some work. But yeah, it's a little, we get some white Christmas here in Minnesota, Chris.
Oh, this is good. I really like it.
I'm in the new house, actually. First time. It's exciting.
Oh, that's pretty exciting. You get that new house smell. Congratulations,
Congrats, Bo.
Bo.
Congrats.
Thanks, guys. Yeah,
Finally a homeowner.
that.
Yeah.
Time.
So anyways, we've got dog of the day. Let's hear it from our four-legged friends.
That's what the audio's under.
I told you. He's slamming those. I found this dog on Instagram. We can't use the Phil Collins that he was set to. He's closing all these cabinets.
You can imagine what it would sound like.
Look at that dog. We're not going to have a real dog in here every day. That gets tedious. Unless the locals, and I mean like truly the locals, I'm not going to fly anybody in to bring their dog. But if there's anybody who lives in Central Virginia area that wants to put their dog on a moderately successful podcast that runs live at 3:45 p.m. on Monday, you can bring your dog in. We're not going to let you stay long, but bring your dog in. get the dog on the show.
I've got another one Reed sent in.
Oh, you got another dog of the day from Cowboy?
This dog's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, I hate it when my dog does that.
It's the worst, man.
That's the type of shit Willie does.
Yeah.
Also, I got Willie
Wild.
down in the corner. If you
Oh, you got Willie in
look at
here?
Willie.
dog of the day, it's my favorite picture of Willie of all time.
Oh, let's see it.
It's down in the. It's on
yeah.
the.
Oh yeah, there's Willie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, man, I just ate a pile of shit outside, and I'm wondering if you'll pet me for a while. No, I'll just stand here. Anyways, dog of the day. I want to give credit to the JMU Dukes
Shout out.
because they're our dog of the day. They covered this weekend. I didn't watch a lick of that game. I put it on split screen because one of my buddies wanted to see it out in the field. That lasted one possession. Oregon just like it was ugly, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Well, the first half, ugly.
But the second half,
boy, did we cover that second half. And, dude, we kind of, blew the Oregon brakes off that second half.
really?
Yeah.
You're the
We swept
second
them
half
through.
champs.
Dude, we were dog walking them. We were.
So what?
If
So
they
what
would have
was?
played 2 more quarters, we would have won.
You think
Yeah.
so?
Oh, yeah.
What was the
The exact
what was the
same quarter.
biggest deficit in this game?
It was 31-3 at one
At
point,
halftime,
I
I
think.
think.
Yeah, 31-6 at half, and then
Yeah.
31-3 at one point.
It was so close to
But-
Only
28
it was
to
a
3.
6-quarter ball game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, if
exactly.
only.
Well, shit. We'll
but-
talk about a game like that in a minute with the Bears.
But, hey,
If only there's a fifth quarter.
more yards, more time of possession. We scored more points than any
You
other
really
team.
hang your hat on that.
Dude, we did.
That's
And-
great,
and the-
man.
the
Way to
dude
ruin
made
it
it,
for
right?
all the other mid-majors.
The train guy made it out.
Yeah, the
right?
train guy made it out there. We were talking about it on Friday. He made it out there. He was
I'll
at the
say it
game.
one more time. Way to ruin it for all the other mid-majors.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It's like, you know what I'm
No
saying?
mas.
Yeah.
We're
No
just not.
more.
And we've been after
It
that.
was a good run.
We've been after that Boise State Statue of Liberty thing
yeah,
since it happened.
Ever.
It's just it doesn't happen as much in football.
No.
In football, the 16 doesn't beat the 1.
No.
In basketball either, usually, unless you're playing Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's a tough. I mean, I'm glad you guys covered, but that's a tough deal. This is a tough deal. I haven't watched a lick of college football playoffs.
Yeah,
Proud
shout out
to
to
say.
the Dukes.
Yeah, shout out to the Dukes. Dog of the day. Now we're gonna open the show with best flight because Nate wants to give his best flight to.
Duval.
You guessed it. As soon as he's done with his Facebook marketplace deal that's going on in some alley outside, he'll be back to do his best flight. But why don't you give your best flight? Just throw your name in the hat. We're not going to win.
I mean, I think the moment Fax gets back here, we have to tell him that all the Duval discussion is over. But my best
pretty
flight, I'm gonna say the Patriots. Like they're leaving Baltimore. It's a pretty quick flight. Kind of wrapped up the AFC East. It's a good little win for them last night. I like that. That game was pretty fun to watch actually. So I'm just gonna keep it simple. We'll go with the Pats. Best flight. Love it.
That's a good one. That's a real good one. Well, I probably won't win, but I figure, fuck it. Why don't I throw my submission in the bucket, or should we just wait? How far away is he?
He hasn't said anything in a
Okay.
second, so he's probably loading that in. You go ahead.
We should make him wait until probably
Yeah.
where we were gonna talk
do it
about the
original.
Jags,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time last night.
If
trying
he's
to-
not back by the time
by the
you
time
guys
I
have done
finish
your
my
worst
best flight.
flight.
Oh, worst
Yeah,
flight.
yeah. Once you do worst flight, and if he's not back then we're jumping.
Okay.
Got a
Nate,
little
you're gonna
more
lose.
leeway, but-
Don't let anybody say that.
We're looking out for him.
Okay. Well, let's see how this best flight does relative to Jaguars. When Michaela Benthos was severely injured in a mountain bike accident 7 years ago, she thought her days of adventure might be over. Then everything changed. Just this week, she became the first wheelchair user in space, launching from West Texas's Blue Origin headquarters via Jeff Bezos. Yes, Michaela, a paraplegic, ended up in space.
Holy.
She said, quote, "It was the coolest experience."
Man, good for her.
Yeah, and she also said, and I quote, "I really hope it's opening up for people like me. Like, I hope I'm only the start." So thank you for that, Michaela, and I submit you as best flight. We'll see how the judges feel like that stacks up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags overcame a lot this week, but I don't know if they overcame what Michaela overcame.
Really putting the judges here in a tough
Fax
spot.
said he's coming back in now.
Well, he better hurry up.
You better hurry up.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I can't wait till he gets back and he's like, I gotta win best flight. I'm like, I picked the paralyzed gal.
I want to know like what the fuck he's buying. What is he buying or selling?
It was a stroller?
There's a lot of conjecture.
Some sort of a stroller.
Yeah.
It's dad stuff.
Oh, here we go.
Here
I
he
heard the door.
comes. Here he comes. Coming in hot.
Fax, get ready. Or chat, get ready.
Chat, get ready for facts.
Someone said he's buying a T-Law real doll.
Oh my God! Welcome to the show. Here he comes. Here he comes. What did you? What is that? Facebook Marketplace, huh?
Yeah, man. Pulled into the Water Street garage. Don't know how to follow directions. What's up, everybody?
You have the floor.
What's up, everybody?
You have the floor.
Oh, already?
Yeah, we're
Already, the
Best
show's been
flight.
going for 10
Who's your
minutes.
best
Yeah,
flight?
we got a best flight from
Best flight. You know that flying from that big market airport to that small market airport?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that feels so good to go from the cold. I don't know how warm it is in Jacksonville, but definitely warmer than Denver, Colorado. Going there and just crushing all those fans. What a great, that has to be the best flight. And this Trevor Lawrence just looking at all the memes and going through his mentions of people backtracking.
Yeah.
And now saying they have to go back and watch him play. That's got to be the best flight.
That was a good flight.
And then when you go to Jacksonville, if they still do it the same way, it's like you land right into that small airport,
Yeah.
and all our cars is in this jet hangar.
Oh, the cars are in the hangar?
So it looks really, it's like a cool setup.
Everybody's car looks cool under that.
You know, a lot of like the
yeah.
rich guys, you see those nice cars.
Yeah,
that
they're
are
always
all parked
indoors.
there. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
parked there. So that's like the best, getting off that plane and just seeing your car, and especially they're on what, like how many games in a row is it now? Losing track.
Shit.
Track.
This is your segment, you know?
Losing track. No, but it's exciting being a Jaguars fan, and it's just fun now just kind of being the hunted.
Yeah.
Rather
You are officially the hunted now.
It's
sure.
6 in a row there, you huge Jaguars
6 in a
fans.
row.
6 in a row.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
12,
boy.
12 in a row. Did you guys really think you were going to get 12 in a row? You did.
Hell
That's
yeah.
why it feels good. That's why it feels good.
See, he restrained himself. He was going to make it, he was going to take a shot at you, and then he was like, let's keep it about the Jags, which is what it should be. The Jags played their asses off yesterday. They just showed up and kicked their ass. And we will talk about the Jags. I want to give you the floor to talk about anything else Jags related before we get to the breakdown.
Jags is going to the Super Bowl, bro.
Okay.
You're feeling soupy?
They're going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'm just loving the way Liam Cohen is just, I feel like he's masterminding right now. Like, it's incredible seeing them play. And I just feel like yesterday just shows more like how great Liam Cohen is, because I definitely thought it would be a run-dominant game, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I thought it should have been. But the fact that we still we just turned the tables to just putting up points, bro. Like seeing 30 points and it's the Jaguars having 30 points in multiple games. Like every time you watch them play, like, holy shit.
I'm going to change the show, okay?
Okay.
Because what we were going to do right now is we were going to go worst flight and then get into the NFC and then start the AFC with the Jags. But we're not going to do that. We're going to break this game down right here.
Let's do it.
Instant breakdown alert. How good does that feel? Huh?
Sudden change.
Coming to you live from the top of the show.
Oh,
A team's won 6 straight. Let's talk about the Jags. Okay, here's what I'm impressed about with the Jags. And we talked about this Thursday. You look back at why the passing game's improved so much. You knew from the beginning of the season, hey, they're going to run the ball well. I mean, Liam Cohen schemed up the Bucs to run the ball really well last year. They obviously miss him there. You had the high-powered wide receivers outside. You had Brian Thomas Jr. You had, Travis Hunter Jr., who, you're forcing in the lineup. I'm not saying it's like a forced job, but like, you know me. I think he's a corner who should have some packages offensively. I think trading, and I talked about this last night, it's not like an intentional trade. It's just you kind of work it out as the season goes on. But trading high-ceiling players for high-floor players, that gave them the stability, especially in the middle of the field, that was on display last night. It's been on display through this entire 6-game win streak, which you've talked about, man. But the Jags can do all this stuff I'm about to list, and this is why they're a complete offense right now. Number one, they can play the high-low game. We've seen that lately since Jacoby Myers got there. We've seen it with Parker Washington. You saw it last night versus zone coverage. You can play the high-low game in the middle of the field. You've got guys that have better feel in zone coverage. Before you've got this big, tall, explosive play machine outside who hasn't been catching the football, doesn't want to work the middle of the field. You've got a young rookie who doesn't have the feel for zone. You bring in Jacoby Myers. He knows how to sit down and avoid in defense. You also have Parker Washington, who works really comfortably there. You have Brenton Strange, who was hurt for a little bit. Mm-hmm. It makes a lot of sense why it's all coming together now. And then you have a quarterback who can make the throws versus off coverage outside. You got to have a guy that can get the ball out there with zip. And that's one thing you never doubted when it comes to Trevor Lawrence is the ability to put zip on a football. He's throwing the ball outside the numbers well. They also have the athletes that are tough tackles on the perimeter. You saw that last night. Riley Moss misses a tackle. It goes in the low red. You can run the screen game. I think also what they've gotten good at is Trevor not panicking, checking the ball down. And when they check the ball down, they have the athletes to hurt you. Their checkdowns can be explosives. Not every team in the league is like that. You look at the team that they're competing with in the AFC South, who's going to come in second. Obviously, don't take this the wrong way.
No.
Thank you. But like Woody Marks, he was out yesterday, but even Woody Marks in the game, like that check down's not going to turn into an explosive. ETN getting the football out on the perimeter, a swing screen, that type of thing. They've got the athletes out there. They also have the run game to make play action work. You saw this last night with Strange running by Greenlaw. I love that that concept where he's basically a fullback, and you get the little short motion man indicator, and you get him leaking through the A-gap. And, you see Drake Greenlaw, he's going to fit that up like it's run, and he runs right by him. That's a tough look. You got scheme, and you've got the players for it, and you got the run game for it. And I also thought yesterday, and this was the cherry on top, the red zone efficiency. That was what Denver hangs their hat on. And I would love to sit here and say, hey, it was all scheme. But it was the quarterback making the throws. I think it's certainly hunting the matchups, but making the throws. And the other thing I want to mention is they did a great job of keeping Benito in check. I know he's not the only guy on that defensive line, and some guys got home with sacks, but there were parts of the game where I was like, Trevor is not being touched. And that offensive line with a backup left tackle,
man,
they threw the kitchen sink at him over there.
Best story of the year.
Seriously.
Best story of the year right now. They're just shuffling the O-line, and, like, you see other teams do it, but, like, it doesn't necessarily always have to work, and it's been working. And that on top of with Liam Cohen, I just feel like really having a feel for the game and his players and knowing how to scheme up stuff to put all of his players in the best position, I think that's showing. And it's just like, hey, guys, like, I'm going to put you guys in the best spot. Just go out there and make plays. Like, moving the pocket with Trevor this game was huge.
Yeah.
I thought, they were getting pressure. They were sacking him, and it was getting scared Trevor, like, you got to do something. And then when you seen him start moving the pocket and stretching out some of these plays and getting guys open, it was
Well, there was a point, and I'll say this, and there were times where Benito, they were throwing so much at him, like sometimes they overset him, like way overset him, have the guard come out and just try to clean his clock.
Yeah.
And then there were other times where you have the chipper, and I think, at times as a rusher, you get frustrated. They hunt a one-on-one for him. They move him to D-tackle, and on that snap, you see Trevor immediately vacates the pocket left. And in scramble drill, which they become good at, Parker Washington, who's running a post, comes back to him.
He's the best.
And you get an explosive that way. You also saw late in the game, and there was a period in this game, to be fair to Denver, where Denver had a chance.
Absolutely.
And you're kind of in that 2-score down kind of situation. If you can get a stop, a score, like whatever it is, Trevor breaks the pocket left because Benito's at this point so frustrated. He's just trying to get one, and he's running down that guy's shit, and he's not thinking about Trevor's legs are a big part of why they're able to win that football game. And so you talk about that. The other thing I want to mention, not a day where the run game was dominant, right?
Not at all.
I think this play,
but we stuck to it.
This play for me was my favorite play of the day if I was a Jacksonville fan, was the toss in the high red that goes into low red. It's an explosive on the right side where Jacoby Myers gets a piece of Benito, a solid piece of Cooper, rather, and then fits up on Hufanga. Gets two guys in one play. You talk about being willing to do the dirty work, everything that kind of encapsulates how they've been playing and why people like me and the other guys in this room are slow to pick up on what they're building is they kind of have that same vibe that the Bucs did offensively last year. And, the quarterback doing his job over the last 4 to 6 weeks of the season, he deserves a lot of credit. But Liam Cohen deserves a ton of credit, as you pointed out, and what a difference a coach makes. On the other side, I think Denver blew it not going for it before the half. I think they absolutely should have felt this game for what it was, which was you are chasing the Jacksonville offense. I don't want to say – I talk about this whenever we talk about a big game. There's always guys missing. Jacksonville had a left tackle missing in this football game, right? The lock being in the lineup for Denver affected the middle of the field for them, right? There were instances in this game where I thought they could have been better there, but I think more than anything, that's just a bad matchup for Denver. If the rush isn't going to get home, you have to feel that going into the half, and I know they improved in the second half, like protecting Trevor and that sort of thing. But I thought in a ball game where you got a chance for a 2-for-1, if you're Sean Payton, you know better than to, A, run the ball on 3rd and 2, get stuffed, and then kick from like the 38-yard line, which I'm okay with. The thing I'm not okay with is before the half, not going after that Pat Bryant drop, because the way Jacksonville was humming, you're going to kick a field goal, and they're going to match that 3-point output like within 2 minutes, and it kind of negates the whole drive. So, like, for me, your best bet would have been to try to score before the half, get points.
2-for-1.
Right, get the 2-for-1, and then play the game from ahead, which I think it might pan out differently. But I think Sean Payton missed his opportunity there and did not feel like where the game was. The other thing is, like, sometimes they get wasteful. I thought the shot to – these are nitpicky things – but I thought the shot to Cortland Sutton in the red zone, Nate, and Reed was wasteful on early downs when you're throwing into a cover 2 look where you've got safety help over the top. And the same thing at midfield when you're chasing a score and you run a reverse at the 50-yard line. I know it's shot zone for you, and I know it's there if Bo Nix just makes the throw. But this isn't a time for that. You don't need to get it all back in one play. You need to be in second and manageable. And you end up 3rd and 14 in that situation. There's just been situations watching the Broncos call games this year where I think Sean's a great play designer. I think he does a fantastic job. He's beyond reproach. But there are moments where I think they get a little cocky or forget where they are in the game.
Liam made him take his bifocals off.
He did. He did.
He had the glasses on to start the game, and then he had to take them off. What's that about?
I don't know. Is it maybe a Sean McDermott thing?
Say, like, fuck it, I'm not looking at these calls anymore. Just
I don't know.
Play it by throw everything out the window.
Now, 48% of the chat thinks the Jags are the team to beat in the AFC.
I mean, I feel like we should be. I mean, if you think and look at anyone else, sorry, the Colts, yeah, like they got the injury with their quarterback, but they're not really a team that's looking. And I just feel like as much as people want Houston to be that team, then they go out and they struggle to beat someone like the Raiders. Like,
yeah, I don't think that's fair, though. I don't think that's fair, though. I don't think, listen, we judged Jacksonville off some ugly games this year, and I know they've been playing really well lately, but I don't think the Raiders game yesterday's Raiders game it changes anything. I think that defense is still that defense.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
And, like, for instance, and we were talking about this on the way over, and Bo, tap in, but I think the AFC is so interesting this year because it's all matchup dependent.
Mm-hmm.
We were driving over saying, okay, would you be shocked if this team won? Would you be shocked? Here, I wouldn't be shocked if the 7 seed beats the 2 seed. Houston beats New England in the first round. And I wouldn't be shocked if Buffalo beat Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if it went the other way either.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing I'd be surprised by is if Pittsburgh makes a run.
Ooh.
I you know, like as good as they looked yesterday, I'm still surprised if they make a run.
Yeah.
You know, and New England, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, like they look really good to me, but I would be surprised if they got in the bowl.
When's Spillane getting back? Is he getting back?
Who, Spillane?
Yeah.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
So will Milton Williams.
Okay.
He'll be
Like,
Um,
because without those two, like, it's scary hours.
But other than that, there's not a team in the AFC. There's only one team in the AFC playoffs to start today that I'd be shocked if they made it to the Super Bowl. Like, absolutely shocked. Steelers.
The Steelers, right?
And that's,
Yeah.
No, and that's the just being a fan and just like I know I'd like Nate's crazy and thinking about it, but like right now, just seeing how the Jags progress since our bye week, honestly, it's one of those things like you're saying, when you look at matchups, once you get to the playoffs and just winning one game at a time, it's like I really like us against a lot of teams. And the main reason why is like it's slowed down as of lately, but our defense gets takeaways. If you can manufacture takeaways and our offense is playing the way it is where we're getting 3 or 7 points on every time we get a takeaway, like that's the way you're going to win games in the playoffs.
Right.
And I just like our chances with that, the way things that they have been going. And like realistically, like Cam Little is going to be a weapon once the playoff starts. Like points are going to be at a premium, and the fact that he can kick 70 plus, like in some stadiums, if the conditions are right, that's going to be huge, and it's something that people maybe aren't thinking about right now.
That is big.
But that's going to be big.
You look at like we're gonna get to the Eagles in a second. Jake Elliott struggling right now.
Missy Elliott, what a crazy.
Don't call my guy
nickname.
Missy Elliott
Whoa,
That's
easy.
nickname
Yeah.
right now that here flowing, and I was just like, that's a fire nickname.
because he misses.
But yeah,
That's still
he
Jake the
misses.
Make to
Yeah.
me, dude. Come
He's
on.
still Jake the Make. I'm still stuck in 2018 when I saw him kick a 65-yarder. It was like 100% humidity out there. It's crazy. But no, I mean, like you make a lot of good points. The Jags, and you've been on this thing. The Jags are legit. So congratulations. This is a big win for you guys. I don't want to congratulate you like this is your Super Bowl because it's not, right?
No, it's the Jaguars Super Bowl. They're, they're all.
No, it's not the Super Bowl, but it's just funny, like thinking that Denver thought they were just gonna win how many games in a row. Like they really thought that.
Hey, listen, every
so
run
funny.
ends, and here's the thing with Denver. They've been in these situations all year. And so as high as their ceiling is, their floor is also low. You know, and you know, when you go into the playoffs, like if you're going to be in these close games with every team you play, I know it's the playoffs, but they kind of got burnt for it yesterday. Like the Jags made them pay for what they hadn't been made to pay for at home this year.
And I didn't understand why they just, for a team that is known always having to come back, like why don't you just kick field goals? Why don't you just kick field goals?
Denver?
Yeah.
See, I went the opposite. I would have said early in the game, I'd have said because of the way your offense played, if I understood like, hey, and here's the other thing, like they can man up, but like Denver's been beat in some situations where teams have in their losses, I feel like they've had a hard time getting off the field on third down. That's whatever they play. Like you know, the Chargers,
The Colts.
The Colts
dice us up on third down.
this game here.
Yeah.
And so like ultimately, and Vance Joseph is a good coordinator in the NFL. But he wasn't like Bill Belichick before he had this group.
Right.
You know, this is he's got a lot of privileges out there. You know, and so I think you run into a guy like Liam Cohen and
they poked the bear. That's why I love our coach. He was waiting. I said that on the show. I was like, hey, he said that little small market shit. Guaranteed Liam Cohen will have a response after the win in his back pocket to shoot back to let him know.
And you know he's perfect for the Jags. He's perfect for the Jags and perfect for
Amazing.
Jags fans because they're playing into something right now, which is the nobody believes in this thing. Which I just got to say, like, what the fuck else do you expect to start the season?
Yeah. No.
Last year, you're one of the worst football teams in the league.
Agreed.
My favorite thing, and I've done it before as a player, is like I'm aggrieved. Everybody's the worst because they didn't see what there was no evidence to see for the longest time. And this is the way this thing works. But if that's what they got to do, then do that, brother. Because honestly, that shit goes a long way in the locker room. It's like the small market dig. That's such a nothing burger. But just leave it to him leave it to him to turn it into something. And leave it to my esteemed co-host here, Dr. Fax, to turn it into something. Big win.
Real fast, I want to ask you guys about a situation. So 3rd and 10, Jaguars have the ball. It's at the Broncos' 44-yard line. 2:44 left in the first half. Ball is snapped. Play is blown dead by the referees. PJ Locke can't hear the whistle.
I get that. I get PJ Locke's side of it. I also get Denver's side of it.
Have you ever seen a home crowd being so loud
that it affects the home team?
It goes against the home team.
But I guess you guys have all played in those situations where those crowds are going bonkers. I mean, talk to how hard it is to hear a whistle, and maybe if there's anything else refs can do.
I'm not going to lie. What was it? Maybe UConn game or UNC game? Chris Long, he won us a game in college, realistically, pumping the crowd up. It was maybe Thursday night, and Scott Stadium got so loud. I want to say they were trying to audible, and the center just snapped the ball in the corner.
It went over his head.
And the quarterback wasn't there.
He
went to audible, and the center snapped.
Yeah.
And the ball rolled out of field goal range, and it was just like, because of how loud it was.
It usually goes that way. It doesn't usually go the other way. No. And obviously, you have your Roach penalty, which I thought was a really dumb penalty by him. You can't land on him like that.
And he was terrorizing us. He played really
well in the pass phase, yeah.
And that's unfortunate that you wanted to do that, but as a D lineman, that whole scoop tackle shit, you can't do that to a quarterback.
Yeah.
Any way you want to put it, any way you want to say, oh, this is the only thing I could have did, or whatever it is, you can't do it, and it's going to be a penalty. And the good thing for us is I feel like Trevor is playing good enough that we're going to get those calls.
Yeah.
Not all the quarterbacks always get those calls, and we see those plays happen, and some refs
You've played yourself out of the Bermuda Triangle and into the the Jordan rules kind of.
And I love it for us right now. So it's cool and it's fun, and it's going to be exciting down the line, just seeing how the AFC shapes up.
We'll do the voting right now. How do you guys vote on best flight?
Best flight. All right, Tanner, what do you got?
I got Chris. touching story.
Chris, for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
3, it's a sweep.
This is sweet.
I had a really
job,
good
Chris.
best flight.
Yeah.
I mean, you had
This is
good.
smart.
That was a good best flight. But this woman from Germany,
Michaela Benthaus.
first woman in a wheelchair in space.
Oh, that's
Kind of hard to
fire.
beat that.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'll take my.
Space.
Can I say something quick?
You're super rich. Would you go to space?
No, because
Okay.
I don't want to die in a fireball. I don't want to
If you could guarantee that you weren't going to die,
Yes.
in
a heartbeat.
Okay, word.
In a heartbeat, I would go to space. I might not come back. I might not come back. Do the preview from space. But no, there's always the chance that you're looking at Jeff Bezos one minute and the next minute you're in the upper room.
The upper.
Like those people in the submersible. They don't even know they're
They
dead.
didn't even
You
know
see
it.
those TikToks?
Huh.
It's like they'll show someone, this is how you disarm someone with a gun. And then they'll
Oh, that's
show it,
hilarious. Yeah, it's
and
the
then
dude
they'll
with
show
the
it, and then it'll be like boom, and then you're in heaven.
But it all started with the dude with he's wearing all black and he's this is how you disarm somebody. Yeah, the guy's like, yeah, let me try that. And then they Photoshop him in heaven. He's like, what the fuck?
Bo,
I know the exact one.
You wanted to say something? Would you have, Bo?
I'm just impressed with Nate's humility, I mean, I for a second I thought you took a victory Monday there on the pod, just not show up on Monday, but man, you're very level-headed on this pod so far, and hey, hats off.
That's
to
because
you.
they're winners now. They don't have to act like losers. You act like winners when you're winners, and now they've crossed the winner threshold where you don't have to think like that, where it's act like I've been here before. I have been here. I've been here now 6 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? You guys are winners, bro. Welcome to the winner's circle.
Sean Payton
I
after the
can't-
game.
Oh man.
What?
Oh man. if
y'all win the Super Bowl,
if the fucking Bills have to go to Jacksonville, the belt to ass that's gonna be put on Josh Allen.
oh, you think it's gonna be ugly, huh?
Oh, wee! Do I ever?
I mean, you might be
I don't
right.
think that's a good matchup for the Jags here.
I'm thinking about. I'm strictly thinking about now. I think Liam Cohen, like, I think he took what everyone, like with Andy Reid for the past few years, just being like, Andy Reid's going to scheme up every team. I feel like Liam Cohen, like, he is going to show, he's going to be that next coach that everyone, it's really the coaching match.
Here's why, honestly, because I thought about this, because obviously it's somebody's worst nightmare, you or me, right? But you still have to win the Super Bowl too, because you just said they're going to win the Super Bowl. So like, even if I lose that game, I'm going to be like, all right, well, good luck the rest of the way. It's just the Bills, all right? But here's why I think it's actually a decent matchup. So the Bills usually struggle with teams that can really strap up outside. I don't think the Jags have a group of corners that you're just like, damn, I can't beat these guys. The other thing is I think the Bills can run the football. Like, I think if the Bills played in that game last night, they're scoring every possession, just like y'all maybe are against their defense. But the one glimmer of hope that the Bills have is, I think, they got one of the best nickels in the league. And, I think the guys – the guys in the secondary, as bad as they are ball aware. They'll turn some of these things into turnovers. That's my hope in a game like that. You got to create turnovers, and then you absolutely have to be able to run the ball, which I think they would be able to do.
The narrative no one is thinking about, though,
is
we have a player that basically legally changed his name because of someone on the Buffalo Bills.
Who's that?
Hines Allen.
The Josh Allen Bowl.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, it'd be the Josh Allen Bowl.
Bowl. And when you think about that, I think that guy goes out there and gets 3+ sacks in that game. So everyone maybe can change it over, and he can be the real Josh Allen again in the NFL. No, but it will be exciting.
I think it would take 40 points to win that game.
And here's the great thing about it is the way the Jags are playing. I love that. I love a shootout right now.
Yeah.
Because it's just one of those things where, like I was saying in the chat, for analytics-wise purposes, we're gonna get 1 or 2 turnovers. And if like we're in a shootout, that means we're scoring. If we get a couple extra possessions, that's how you win a game.
The Bills probably what I just said though the same way is like you hang your hat on the fact that like, hey, this has been a great stretch.
But it's the fact too. Trevor in these past 8 games hasn't turned the ball over.
Right. So when does that happen?
And does it happen again?
Well, you're asking, does it ever happen again? Whereas in you're playing the regression of the mean thing on the opponents. I think that's the question. If they can keep avoiding the turnovers, there's nothing that's going to get in their way. Facts. They might win the World Cup. They might be the best team on the planet.
It's going to be so great.
All right.
Sean Payton after the game said they beat us good in all 3 areas, and it starts with me. And so even though that hurts going down, you can't spit it out. You have to swallow it.
See, on that freaky oyster shit.
On that oyster shit. All right, so we got best flight out of the way. That is our Jags breakdown. When we get into the AFC, we'll start with the Pats. But let's go worst flight. What do you guys got?
Let's start this off.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so I'm looking at the schedule. Look at the AFC or the NFC West. Excuse me, the NFC West. There's a lot of shit going on. Okay, these are 3 teams who are pretty good. I think the Niners are sneaky, really good. We saw a great game with the Seahawks and the Rams on Thursday. We're about to talk about that, but this is a tight race. All right, so my worst flight is going to be the Seahawks' remaining flights on their away schedule. They got 2 left. They're going to Carolina. That's a long flight. Yeah. It's a good Carolina team that just beat the Bucs.
James
and then
situation.
and then the Seahawks are going to San Francisco to play who I think is probably the most underrated team in the NFC, maybe the NFL. And that has some big playoff implications, some division lead implications as well. So that's my worst flight is Seahawks remaining away games. They got 2 tough ones.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the Carolina trip's not fun this late in the year for them, but at least they have 10 days.
Right now, that race sits at the Seahawks 12-3, Rams 11-4, 49ers who play tonight, they're at 10-4. All three teams are in the playoffs. Seahawks had the highest chance to win that division at 55%.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, it's like my Jags, which I haven't made a lot of noise about this year, but I don't know if anybody else picked them to win the fucking division. Anybody? No, we'll just move on to the next thing.
Worst flight. That short flight from O'Hare back to Green Bay.
Oh fuck! Wait, what?
Worst flight.
Damn, we got the same worst flight.
Is that what you picked?
That's crazy. No, it's the right call though. It is the worst flight of the week.
It is. It's the short flight, and it's one of those things with that rivalry. Like, realistically, it was getting to be like it's not really a rivalry when you're winning all the time. So it's just for those guys in that organization to take that flight back to Green Bay from Soldier Field, like after just historically in the past 20, 25, 30 years, just always kind of dominating that game. It just has to feel different just for everyone in Green Bay when you're, we always beat the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And just for that game, the way it finished out. And for the Bears, man, just like turning the page and like being on the right end of these overtime games and these game-winning drives and whatever it is. I just feel like that's probably the worst flight. And for how big that rivalry is portrayed to be, this will be a long week for those guys. It's usually fun in games and extra appearances and things like that because it's Bears Packers week. But this year, that's all going on in Chicago.
So I got them as the worst flight as well. That's a type of loss. You just went through it like a week or two ago with the Bengals where, I said those are the types of losses you can still hear them when you're laying in bed. Like when you lose on the road like that, like you be laying in bed that night, you get home, well, it could be 3 a.m. and if you're Quay Walker or if you're Nixon, like you're replaying that bomb to win the game over and over in your head, and that's not gonna stop for a while.
Can't turn the TV on. No sporting channel.
It's just that place was so loud. I remember playing the double doink game there, which I feel like is okay to bring up now because you guys are good again. But like Chicago fans, and it was so fucking loud in that stadium. I just remember thinking like, this is a really tough place to play, man. If this team ever gets really good, he's got the Bears gear on deck too. That's interesting. So. Even though the Packers are his team this year. So I think it's just one of those like that was a Mr. Krabs situation there where you're just disoriented and you don't know what happened. And it's about as bad as a loss you can have. And it totally because a minute or two before that onside kick, they're thinking, oh, we're going to be okay. And they're probably right. But are they going to be able to get over the hump? What a difference. We'll get into talking about the Bears right now. First off, what a difference a year makes. End of game situations, close ball games. You think back to last Thanksgiving, right, where your jaw's on the floor. You're like, how could it be worse?
Bloodbath of game management.
Just awful. Like you never see it. And then, you never see it the other way. Like I've never seen anything like that in my years post playing as an analyst. Never seen a finish like that. And I also think what a difference 5 minutes makes. Because, and bear with me, there's going to be some Bears fans here who are going to be like, wait, are you being negative about my team? I'm not. Because before the onside kick, this is where we are. I got a buddy from Chicago who is not a big Caleb Williams fan somehow yet. It seems like confirmation bias. It seems like, well, I never liked the guy coming out. I didn't like the purse. I didn't like the nails. He's from California, like whatever. He's actually from the DMV. He's 50% passing through the whole game, and I'm trying to convince my friend. I'm like, no, he's really fucking good. And the game's going to end with him kind of sitting there at 50%. And they're about to lose to Malik Willis at home for the division. They can't convert on third down because DJ Moore's too tired to line up. Caleb throws it off the goalpost at one point. Like, You rush the kicker out to make it a 1-score game, and he's taking his sweet fucking time. They run it down to the 2-minute warning. Like, if that game ends there, you're talking about all that. There's probably Bears fans, although I would disagree with them, that say, oh, well, he's not the guy. Look, he's not the guy. Like, big ball game, you can't complete 50% of your passes. He missed Kmet at the pylon, like, whatever. Ben Johnson, big brain Ben Johnson, we get in the fucking red zone. We're falling forward for 4 yards at a time, but we're going to run Wildcat and snap it through the fucking tight end's legs. Like, or at the end of the game, the clock management that I mentioned, that's what people are going to talk about. They're going to talk about Ben Johnson's quote blew up in his face, like beating Matt LaFleur twice in a season. That's where we're going to be if Romeo Doubs catches an onside kick. And I think it's an example of, like, in sports media, the narratives that we create because one thing changes. And, I think, like, you gave Chicago the extra period, the extra frame, and they absolutely seized it. This was an opportunity that, can propel them into the playoffs, like deep into a run. It can propel them into being more confident group. It can propel them into feeling like, hey, it's our division now. And, it all starts with an onside kick. And, the last onside kick for Green Bay was that they botched famously. I think it was in the playoff game against Seattle, and it ends with Bostic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Michael Bennett riding around on a fucking bicycle at Lumen Field. And I remember, like, that's the type of thing that happens in that stadium. Like, Seattle's just always got a horseshoe up their ass. But for Green Bay, they've been on the ass end of this thing twice. And that fourth down is incredible. The fourth down was movie stuff. I mean, like, it's not a prayer because he knows right where he's throwing it. And obviously Nixon probably feels like they botched the exchange there in the end zone, but it's a really tough throw to make. And, I think the running backs deserve a lot of credit for picking up hard yards all game long. But then in overtime, like, to make it second and manageable, make it third and manageable, like, yards after contact. Those guys ran so hard. I think, you got to give some love to Darnell Wright. He was road grading the entire day, but Caleb Williams is special talent, man. He really is. And again, like, the power of a coach. Look what Ben Johnson's done for him. And, I think there was a play where Rashawn Gary had him dead to rights on a boot, and Caleb did his little step-by thing. And I thought to myself, damn, imagine being a highly paid rusher who's going to build their legacy in that division. Like a Micah Parsons or somebody like that, or, John Grenard or somebody like that, where you're thinking legitimately twice a year I might not get home. And I might rush really well, but I might miss 3 sacks against this Bears team because this guy's going to be parked here in our division for the next decade. It's going to affect my production as a player for my entire career. 1/8 approximately of my season every year is going to be chasing this fucker around. The talent that he has, it really does shift the balance of power. And I said this earlier this year. Now, I didn't call them winning the division. I had the Packers win the division. It still could happen. But I did say this. If you're a Bears fan, there's no reason to think your quarterback's not the guy in this division in 2 years. Like, I think Jordan Love's really talented. I think Jared Goff's a great quarterback. But you kind of got the keys to the division if this guy realizes his potential. And last night, or a couple nights ago, was kind of that kind of night where, he does magical things. And Dennis Allen's defense, man, that's that New Orleans attitude. And y'all know this from playing New Orleans, like, they got a bit of a fuck you attitude. And that came from guys like Sean Payton, guys like Greg Williams, guys like Dennis Allen. He brought that attitude to Chicago, and they've done a great job considering they don't have a lot of rushers, although Montez Sweat did a great job getting home the other night. So, where I was on the Packers before that onside kick was, hey, maybe they can still do this. And, I still feel like they have a chance to win some playoff games. And, you never say never, because there are other teams in the dance that don't have a great pass rush, that we don't hold them to the same standard because they didn't have a Micah Parsons a week or two ago. It's bad when you look at it in that right, but some of the things that I assumed Hafley would do, he did, and he did them effectively. Like, he blitzed a lot more. I said coming to the game, if I'm Jeff Hafley, I'm blitzing on early downs. I'm trying to get them into third and longer. In a weather game, the last thing I want is a bunch of 3rd and 4s against this group that's really good in those scenarios. So Hafley, before the fourth quarter, 58% early down blitz. Hafley weeks 1 through 15, 21% early down blitzing. Now, I took the fourth quarter out, and you might say, well, that's not fair because they're in 2-minute mode for much of that thing, chasing 2 scores. Here's where Hafley fucked it up, in my opinion. He sat back and played coverage in the fourth quarter. And, I think they got a little bit conservative, and I think their Achilles heel really showed itself, which is a lack of 4-man rush in that football game. And that's how they lose the game. I also think, and I said this Thursday, and the Malik Willis thing kind of turned it on its head, but you got to jump this team. You got to be aggressive. Remember I said that? You have to put this team away because a low-scoring football game slants their way. A game where you score 30 points slants your way. And listen, I can question some of the red zone decisions down there early. The Malik Willis thing, you don't have control over that. But, that 4th and 2, Jordan Love hitting Christian Watson on the pylon, it ends up being like a 25-yard throw for 2 yards. I think there are better options in that spot. Mm-hmm. And I hate to boil it down to one play. But to me, you had to come away with points down there. You had to come away with touchdowns.
And that's what I was saying. It's just if you're not going to be open to wanting to use Jordan Love, in the run game in that, have a package for Malik Willis. I feel like he's proven himself enough that, he can come in big spots and make big plays. And if it's something that's going to generate extra points for you, why wouldn't you want to do that? I just feel like it's something that, I don't know, if you're worried about getting Jordan Love out of sync or whatever it is, but right now, if you're not getting all the run production that you were getting from Jacobs at the beginning of the year, it's you guys have to figure out how to generate stuff. So
well, the Wilson guy can run the football, and as he came in the game, I thought they took too long getting away from Jacobs, and this is one of those classic things where only Jacobs can tell you how he's feeling coming into the game, and you want to let the player play, and players. We try to, be our own advocate and be like, hey, man, I can fucking do this. This is why I'm here. But, he wasn't himself. And they were better with Wilson running the football, and I think they took too long to come to that realization. I also think the Malik Willis thing, he's great in short yardage situations. So you play the game in a way that, hey, our explosives are going to be the every once in a while intermediate chunk, or it's going to be a scramble, or it's going to be a 5-7 yard run. You're going to get into those 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, and he's as good as the starting quarterback in those scenarios because the first 3rd down I feel like they had, he pulled the ball. Now it comes down to a quarterback center exchange, which is really a shame because they haven't gotten as many reps. Mm-hmm. And so do I think the hit was dirty? Absolutely not. I don't think the hit was dirty. I think Jordan Love lowered his head, which is a natural kind of thing that happens all the time in football. And we blame the defensive player. His helmet didn't change levels. But it's an unfortunate deal. And honestly, Green Bay, this is so fucked up. They won that game in a lot of ways. It just comes down to an onside kick, and then the Bears seize the opportunity. So if you're Green Bay, you need to dust yourself off and realize, we can still win football games. And we're going to see this team again in the playoffs. This is going to be a trilogy.
They can win with Malik Willis, man. They only need to win one game. If they lose out, it's basically a race, right? To get into the playoffs for the Lions and the Packers, they only need to win one more game. And it doesn't seem like, Jordan Love just, we don't know the extent of his injury. Might only miss one game. So Malik Willis is a pretty good quarterback, man. I was thinking about this too, Chris, with the injuries to people like Gardner Minshew, Mahomes. There are some quarterback, positions open across the NFL, and Malik Willis is an unrestricted free agent. He could go to one of these teams on a 1-year prove-it deal and kind of be the guy. I think he's pretty good.
I've been saying this since last year when he fucking took them to 3 straight wins or whatever it is, and I know I'm talking about they're a little bit more conservative, but he can run a passing offense. He's got a great arm. He's a good thrower of the football. Yeah. They choose to play it a certain type of way. I mean, he's going to throw the ball a bunch, but it's going to be a lot of safe throws. I think I circled Miami. I've been waiting for them to have a quarterback that I like down there that I can get behind. I feel like Malik Willis could be that guy, especially when you're sitting there in cap hell because you're holding on to the last guy you paid.
Yeah.
Like, this is a perfect bridge situation. The other place that was brought up was Indy, but I would love to see Malik Willis down there with Mike McDaniel because it seems like Mike's going to keep his job. And I do think that offense with that run game and everything that comes off it, the motion, like, talk about going from a great play caller to another really good play caller, LaFleur to McDaniel. That would be a lot of fun to see. The other options, obviously Indy, but I don't know what's going to happen there. Like, that whole regime could change. I mean, I don't know.
Well, and in both cases for Malik, obviously it's a great opportunity for him entering free agency as a quarterback teams are going to want to pursue. But both those locations, let's say he ends up in one of those places, there's good infrastructure there for him. Like, it's not a situation where he's set up to fail. Both places have a run game. Both places have some weapons in place, and you mentioned the play callers, so they'd be good situations for him.
Yeah, so Pride of Liberty, Lynchburg, Virginia. We're pulling for Malik Willis. We like him. And so, if this game happens again, it's going to be another barn burner, dude. It's going to be like another knockdown, drag out, however you want to put it. I don't think the Packers come out of this thing thinking, if they're mentally tough, I don't think they come out of this thing thinking like we can't do this thing. But they got to get some better pass rush, and part of it's going to be Halfley manufacturing it. And what you wonder is there was no book on what Halfley was going to do without Micah Parsons. Chicago's kind of coming into that game blind. Like, what does it look like going forward now that you have tape on his tendencies without Micah Parsons? Can he be kind of shifty enough to stay ahead of the curve over this next month of the season?
Bo, would you see anything from that game?
Stand by 1 second.
What the fuck is that?
We got an active construction zone over here at
I thought you pushed one
over at the crib. Kitchen's done, so you can tell making, but still a lot of other work going on. What were you saying there, Cowboy?
No, I was just asking if there's anything you caught from that game. Anything?
I mean, just from a macro level, I love Chicago's ability to just win games. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like so many cases throughout this year, they've just pulled a fucking rabbit out of the hat, especially at the tail end of the game. I'm looking at this stat right now. Chicago's 6th win of the season after trailing in the final 2 minutes. And Green Bay had a 99% win probability rate. That's just a great thing to have for a young team with a young quarterback and a new coach, is like just figuring out the ability how to win games. I think that's an underrated kind of thing for the Bears, man, especially like after some of those fucking games they lost last year. The Hail Marys one and then the Thanksgiving one is, just the ability to win games. That shit goes really far in the playoffs too.
No question that when things get tough, you're not sitting there like, man, we haven't been punched in the mouth like this before. They're not that kind of team vying for a 1 seed where you're like, man, when are they going to get tested? The way we felt about the Patriots before about 2 weeks ago. They're much different where it's like, dude, they've had to kind of, as you put it, pull a rabbit out of their hat from time and time. So the other NFC game, looking all the way back to Saturday, which feels like a couple years ago, the Eagles, man, repeat as NFC East champions. That's I don't know if everybody saw that coming. I know.
That's happened a long time.
I know I'm not that surprised considering what they had to do it. But nothing's easy, man. And nothing's easy in that division, even as bad as the Commanders have looked. And I told you coming in the game, it's, Dan Quinn has improved that defense. And this game, it's 10-7 in Eagles territory when Mariota has to leave the game. Mm-hmm. And then you get Josh Johnson there, who actually started my last regular season game when we went to play Washington. And sat in the coach's office, that tiny little coach's office after the game, watched Minnesota game to see if we were going to get in the playoffs. We were all huddled around it. We beat Josh Johnson, and then we huddled around and prayed we'd make the playoffs. So, Josh Johnson, we did.
Oh, you made it.
Yeah, we made it. And then we almost went to the damn NFC Championship and, fucking blew the game down in New Orleans. But, Josh Johnson's been in the league a long time, but he wasn't going to win that game. I mean, the Eagles defense, there were some guys on that defense that I thought played really well. One of them I just want to shout out is Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis, the jump he's made in a year, like the way he took care of his body this offseason, the slimmed down version of Jordan Davis has just been so active. The run fit technique, playing with his hands, the disruption in the pass game, I think he's been fantastic. But everybody wants to hear about the offense, okay? Because that's the question mark going into the playoffs. beating the Raiders 31-0. It's great. It's kind of like, I'm not going to hold it against them for not beating them 60-0. I mean, that's be fucked up. But again, it is the Raiders and everything, and I'd say the same thing about Houston getting a win yesterday. It's like, that's a little hairy. But looking at the offense, honing in on this deal, I think Jalen had his best throw of the year so far. I mean, like, the one that I really wanted to see, which was the red zone ball to Goddard, considering the stakes of the throw and the area of the field and the way he climbed the pocket. It's playing on time but out of structure, right? And that ball was gorgeous. So the kind of thing I want to see from him. I also love the ball that Smitty dropped in the end zone early. He's been a fantastic thrower of the football outside the numbers all year. What I love seeing was off script but decisive and in the middle of the pocket, climbing the middle of the pocket to make that throw. I thought that was great. I thought it was best throw of the year. And I love the empty stuff. We saw a lot more empty. I don't know if you noticed that, Bo, but I just feel like the empty stuff maybe harkens back a little bit more to like what he did in college. I don't watch much college football, but like that's more of a like air raid, kind of spread them out and you've got your options outside. You got great athletes walked up on bad athletes. Like Saquon Barkley's out there, you might get a Christmas present. You might get a bad matchup and you get more. I don't know if it's more, but we were talking about A.J. Brown being in the slot, and I think they're doing some different things with him. I think they're using him as a chess piece a little bit to open things up in the middle of the field.
Slant, hitch, go ball. That's what Greg Olsen said during the broadcast.
But it's so changed a little bit. It's changed. Watching him this week, it changes a little bit. And I think that the empty stuff is really good for quarterback run because it allows Jalen to be decisive and take off. There's not as many people in the core. There's more space. And so there was a lot I liked.
You saw that in the first half, though, too. I think it was the second quarter they ran. Jalen had a nice scramble. I can't remember how long. It was maybe like 15 or 16 yards or something like that. But I'm wondering if the empty – the more empty stuff that they're doing offensively is kind of Nick's influence on this offense. It feels like it's picked up in the last 2 or 3 weeks, but kind of like what you're just saying, Chris, when you go empty offensively, defensively, there's less kind of disguise that you can give pre-snap because you're just spread out, you know what I mean? And so it does give them a lot of option. And then if you're playing zone, and you have zone eyes defensively, you can really get hurt you can really get hurt in the scramble too. Like I'm saying, you're just spread out. It's exactly what you're saying. But I think the most impressive thing offensively for the Eagles this game, they had like a 17 or 18 play drive.
That's more of an Eagles looking drive. Yeah.
It just felt good. It just felt like in rhythm, and they got helped out by a couple defensive penalties from the Commanders, but like it just felt so refreshing to have a long, nice drive with like some nice chunk plays in the run game and the passing game, and just it felt like the offense was a lot more settled this game, which is, I think, Eagles fans probably reassured by that.
I got to go to bat for my guy Jalen Hurts, who Nate's in the chat saying Trevor's better than him. He's definitely playing better than him right now, but I think the point most people would say is like Jalen's.
How many Super Bowls does Trevor Lawrence have?
For 6 weeks in the past. And he did it on the biggest stage.
What have you done for me lately?
I know you're. What have you done for me lately, guy?
You guys are too. The Philly fan.
No question. No question.
The entire NFL sphere is.
I just had to call that out.
You can't honestly believe that Trevor Lawrence is better than Jalen Hurts, though, do you?
Right now, men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Hey, listen.
Super Bowl wins don't lie.
I don't know why I fed the troll there. But I fed him.
I think Bo's humility compliment for Nate is flip the switch.
Yeah, like I was trying to give Nate a compliment, and he took it the wrong way, and now he's like, he's back to his little tricks and schemes.
Humble.
Like, that ain't me. I'm not humble. Fuck that.
All right. So anyways, I think it was. Listen, a lot of Eagles fans want you to say after these last two games, like, cured.
We're back.
I don't know. We'll see. You want to see the offense when it's time to roll, right? The one thing I loved about Saquon, and hey, we've had our questions about where he is physically all year. I think you also look at the offensive line and say, like, the offensive line hasn't been as good, but the offensive line was getting more push inside. That's for sure. Some of those double teams were moving.
Yeah.
And I know it's the Commanders, and I know the Commanders can't get pass rush, and it's kind of like a good practice day in a lot of ways for an offense that's humming.
Yeah.
But I think what was encouraging was seeing Saquon break what should have been a 3-yard loss for like 60.
Yep.
Like, that's the kind of thing that he did last year. You know, it was the explosives and, you know, just getting that on tape, like, you know, giving yourself the confidence of like, hey, I'm still that guy.
Yeah.
You know, I can still do this thing.
And to your point about the double teams, I saw that too. I was curious because that goes back to last week. I feel like the interior of the offensive line has been getting some more displacement. So I looked at rushing success rate between the tackles.
Mm-hmm.
The first 14 weeks of the season, 26%. That's not good. But the last 2 weeks, that's improved significantly up to 38%. So the interior is starting to roll a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, I see this Jalen Trevor debate, which we gave life to, raging on and there's a lot of people saying, well, you know, like, you don't understand context if you think Jalen's better than Trevor. I'm like, really? Wait, so this version of what Trevor's playing, this offensive coordinator is like having Shane Steichen, right? And that's when you see, I think they're both quarterbacks that depend on the scheme. I think they're both quarterbacks that, you know, there's 3-4 quarterbacks in the league that I'm pretty confident you drop them into almost any system, they're going to play really well. Neither of these guys are those guys, but I think Jalen's track record, until Trevor goes out and does it in the playoffs, it's just not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair to just be able to say, well, I've won a Super Bowl, but he has. You know, it's not fair to say, well, on the biggest stage I caught fire, and, you know, for a month I was, you know, this month I had it in the playoffs.
No, but
you
like,
know,
coaching and like coordinators matter. Like Jalen, like they always
the
show,
same point applies to Trevor, which is my point. Like, they're not.
They've had like so many different and nothing kind of clicked. They
had the same coach though at one point, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Well, Dougie P.
Coordinator, but yeah.
Dougie P. Yeah, they both had Dougie P.
Yeah.
We can compare the Dougie P. eras for those two.
Stats.
That's a really interesting one, Bo. But I think more than anything,
someone in the chat crunched that. Trevor Lawrence stats with Dougie P versus Jalen Hurts with Dougie P.
It's just funny to hear somebody or to read somebody who's clearly got a dog in the race. That's like, or a horse in the race. I don't like dog racing. A horse in the race.
Dog of the day, dog racing.
Yeah, we don't race our dogs. But
there was dog tracks in Jacksonville.
But to hear somebody, yeah, it figures. To hear somebody talk about, you know, you don't understand context, when I'm like, maybe you don't understand context, because there is context around this run right now. You know, like, both of these quarterbacks are in the category of quarterback, and I'm not saying they're in the same spot on this spectrum. That's for you to decide. But there's a couple of these guys, and then there's a lot of these guys, and then there's everybody else. And I think, you know, they're in this category, which is like the next 10 quarterbacks. You know, and that's okay. You can win a Super Bowl with either of them, as Jalen Hurts has proved. And so, you know, is Trevor a winner? We'll find out. Because that's one thing you can't deny with Jalen Hurts is he's a winner in the biggest spots. So, and they won the East again. So we'll move on from the Eagles. Like, listen, I've been pretty critical of the Eagles' offense this year, and Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's got to play his best ball here coming up. So the biggest game in the NFC. Sorry, Cowboy, what you got?
I was just going to say with that Peterson, Hurts, Peterson, Lawrence comparison, Trevor had him for much longer. Jalen was only with Doug Peterson for half the season.
Yeah.
You know, he threw 150 passes, but it was also his rookie year.
Yeah, so we'll throw that out. We'll just have to see what happens in the playoffs. Panthers Bucks. This one was the biggest game in the NFC. And you know, Bo, I want to hear what you have to say about the Bucks. We'll start with the winning team here. The Bucks came down, ran for 170 and lost. Okay, like, to me, this game was going to be decided by which quarterback played better. And if you heard me talk last week about the Saints beating the Panthers, I said you gotta have a feel for when you're not getting it done on the ground, and you gotta let this quarterback make some plays for you. And I thought they came into this game and let Bryce cook a little bit more. And I just want to say this because I know I've had light arguments with a lot of people in the chat, outside the chat, out in the world about Bryce Young all season. And I think if you watch his tape and you put aside your bias and you check the, small quarterbacks can't get it done in the NFL thing at the door, the quality of the throws he's made this year are high. Like across the board, all season long, when there's a throw to be made, he makes the throw. He's also not afraid in the pocket. He moves well in the pocket for such a little guy especially. And I gotta feel like Carolina feels like they have their guy. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like a max deal or something like that, but I think he's shown you enough to feel like, hey, he can be, we're picking up the option or whatever we're doing. He can be our guy. And it's a game like this that kind of proves that. I know that it's just the Bucs, and I know that the Bucs are a factory of sadness right now. But the Bucs came into this season with a different expectation. This is what they expected to do, was win the South, and they still can. But the Panthers are a year ahead of schedule. And I think that speaks to the coach. I think it speaks to the quarterback. Perfect example, Bryce, before the half. The Ted McMillan ball that he hit before the half for the touchdown. Not 5 minutes earlier, he's throwing the same ball, and Diaby is lining him up for probably 4 yards. Bryce is seeing the thing coming the whole time, and he just gets his clock clean, bro. I mean, absolutely obliterated by a big-ass power-rushing defensive end. Stands in there, throws the ball, drops a dime, doesn't convert. But to stand in there again against the blitz minutes later, hit that ball, some of the third down conversions late in the game, the back shoulder to Ted McMillan, there was the obvious example would be the scramble extension for the touchdown down the red zone. That when you watch the end zone of that play, it looks like high school tape. And I mean, like, what Bryce Young did, not a lot of guys can do in the NFL at that level. And so, yeah, he's small. Yeah, he's diminutive. Yeah, you can't see over the fucking tackles. But, boy, does he look comfortable and tough in that pocket, moves well, and the quality of the ball coming off his hand is – I put it up there with a lot of guys in this league. And so, they just need to be patient, improve the things around him. I don't know how this ends for them. I don't know if they win the division. I still think Tampa might win it. But it ain't going to be because Bryce hasn't played well. I think he's outplayed Baker this year. And at one point we were talking about Baker being an MVP candidate, but we've been pumping the brakes on that since the beginning because he just has not been himself this season. And I think part of it is probably he doesn't. And I think part of it is the injury. I also think on a day like yesterday where your OC from 2 iterations ago is on the other sideline beating you as the head coach, and Liam Cohen, your last OC, is elevating Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars to being one of the best teams in the AFC. You're sitting there with Todd Bowles and you're thinking, damn, we had 2 head coaches in our building, and Todd Bowles, who has done a lot of good things in his league, we just keep banging our heads on this ceiling. And it feels like a glass ceiling where we just, it's right there. We can see it. We feel like we're talented enough, and certainly you can point to the injuries, but there's no reason you should lose this game and score 20 points. And I know he doesn't coach the offense, but the game management, the lack of urgency, putting teams away. Just a week ago, you look at the Atlanta game, like you're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter. That's the theme over and over again with this team. And so,
and then even before that, the Shuck led, the Saints. And I think, just speaking on Bowles real quick, I love Todd. I think he's a great coach. He's not super outspoken in the media. And you saw it after last week, that loss to the Falcons. He was really up there motherfucking the team. And it's probably the most passionate he's been in the media, just talking about how he needs to get more out of his guys. And I think his exact quote was like, it should mean a lot. Like, this should hurt. And then you go out and you drop one to the Panthers. The Panthers are good. I mean, they're definitely better, than the Saints and the Falcons. But I think that the disappointing thing to me with the Bucs offensively is their run game is rolling, especially like getting Bucky back really helps. He had 71 yards rushing there today, and they ran, like you said, Chris, for 170 yards. You think that would really help out the passing game, and it just felt like that hasn't materialized at all. The only real, explosive play in the pass game was to Igbuka, who's also kind of fallen off a little bit down the stretch, and he's had a great rookie year and all that. But
won
it just
rookie of the year yesterday.
I agree. Yeah. And that was kind of a sneaky battle to watch. I just don't really understand. Like, you could talk about the injuries, which you kind of mentioned to Baker. Like, Baker's been battling through. You saw that shoulder injury he had where he left the game against the Rams. Mike Evans, it doesn't really feel like Baker and Mike were connecting a ton. There were times, especially in critical moments, where they were not on the same page. Chiefly the interception at the end of the game where I think Mike got a feeling that Baker was going to scramble, and he kind of pinched his route off and went back inside, and Baker threw the pick. But the bottom line is the Bucs they're just really disappointing, and they've fallen off, and they're not playing well offensively. Like I said, like, they need to get more out of these dudes. Like, they have some fucking dudes offensively. Igbuka, Evans, Godwin, McMillan, Bucky, Rashad White.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of like on paper they're kind of they're a wagon offensively on paper, but again, like, the thing that we made a mistake doing with the Jags earlier in the year, I'm not going to do with the Bucs, where it's like, listen, they're probably out of time to get this thing right? And I see some people in the chat that are like, well, they've been losing so much, they're not going to win the division. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked.
They're still in the driver's seat somehow.
They win out, they win the division. And here's the deal. It's really hard to beat a team twice in 1 year, let alone twice in 3 weeks. So I feel like that matchup tilts, especially being at home. And, the Bucs, you keep banking on them wanting it more. Like, wanting it more is going to make them play to a level of detail that they haven't, but it's like nothing. They're too flatline, dude. Like, nothing really pushes them to elevate their play, and I think they got to stop feeling sorry for themselves and pull their fucking heads out of their asses and realize you win 2 games, you're going to go to the playoffs, and I do think they're good enough to win a playoff game if they play their best. But the problem is they have not played their best. And these long losing streaks have plagued them over the last 3 years. I think they're 2-7 this year. I think last year they had a 2-7 stretch. I think the year before I think they had like a 2-6 stretch. When they get unwell, they don't come back quick. And I just like, I don't want to do the thing we did with the Jags earlier this year, which is say, oh, you know what? They're just terrible. They have had a bunch of guys that have not been on the same page all year because of injuries. And that's not an excuse, that's reality. Like, when you're talking about, like, new offense, Mike Evans out, McMillan out, Godwin out, Bucky Irving out for, like, the better part of a month. Your whole offensive line
was out for a while. Yeah.
That stuff matters. Exactly. As you can see, it culminates in the end of the game with 2 guys that have been playing catch for years now, not being on the same page, where one thinks you're going to the scramble drill, and the other is ready to just burn that ball, which is another thing. At that point in the game, you're down a field goal and you're just about in range. Like, there's a certain, like, unsettled feeling when you watch the Bucs offense. They're frantic, and a lot of it is because Baker, he's kind of gotten good at and dependent on just moving around in the pocket and, like, buying extra time and trying to do a little bit too much, and I don't know. I think it speaks to the 2 coaches they had in the building, and obviously let them walk. And in Philly, okay, we talked about, there was a time where people were calling for Sirianni's head, and make no mistake about it, if they flame down the stretch this year, they're going to be calling for his head again. And there were times when, reasonable people could look at that situation and be like, damn, Shane Steichen was the head coach. Like, he was in the building and he left. And you saw the offensive woes that followed. And I think oftentimes in the NFL now, like, when you've got a great coach in the building and you've got a head coach that maybe people aren't as crazy about, you end up in these situations in retrospect where you're like, damn, dude, we had 2 of them that are really energizing franchises and elevating those quarterbacks. And now we've got a defensive head coach. The defense isn't playing well.
Defense has been poor, man. Like, they literally brought JPP out of retirement. They don't have – I mean, I've been talking about how the Bucs need an edge rusher for, I feel like, every week now. And don't get me wrong, I love JPP. He's a hell of a character and an athletic freak, even this far out of the league. But anytime you're kind of going back through the Rolodex and bringing out a guy who's in retirement, you're clearly at a major position of need. And Yaya Diaby's had some good rushes at times during this year, but the defense has been a big problem.
Our friend Tales of
like they're making a lot of plays.
Our friend Tales of a Weed Smoker, he's on the other side of this thing. He's Chargers and Niners are far more hurt and they find ways to win. Great teams find ways to win with adversity. Well, a couple things that are different about those situations. Number one, The San Francisco 49ers have one of the best play callers of this generation offensively. It literally doesn't matter who plays quarterback there. The second thing is the Chargers have Justin Herbert. Yeah. And that is going to come up again in the AFC when we talk about, but nobody, and I mean nobody, is playing better quarterback than him right now considering the circumstance. And I mean nobody.
He's unreal.
I mean nobody.
He's a dog.
So, you can say, hey, well, these are but there's also teams every year that don't finish because of injuries. And, you can cherry pick, hey, these teams are in it, these teams aren't. You just got to suck it up. But it's not an excuse. It's an explanation for what's happening on the field. I'm looking at this team play, and it looks like they're not on the same page, offensively or defensively. Talk about defense, got no pass rush, none. Got no linebacker play, none. Got a young nickel corner, got a young corner. The best version of this team, it was Kalijah Cansey healthy. It was Hassan Reddick being the guy that he was in Philly a couple years ago. And it was Levante David not taking a big step back physically. All those things have happened, plus the injuries. All right, so here we go.
Chris, quick question for you about the bowl. Come back to the Bulls thing, that conversation. And you've been making this point about seeing situations around the league where these great assistants go on and become head coaches or having success. And I think it's a really interesting conversation around potentially making that decision.
What do you do?
Right. How would you think about that? Let's say you're an owner, that kind of, it feels like it's almost a trade-off of all right, my offense is humming. I can't risk losing this play caller. I might lose a little bit of this culture dynamic.
I'd like to think that I would put my money where my mouth is and say, if I wasn't sure about my head coach, deep down,
Yep.
And it's a relationship business, and coaches and owners, they get cool, and especially if you've won together. But you got to think about the health of your organization. And if you think that the next big thing is coaching your offense, and your head coach is a middling defensive head coach, I don't care if he's been there a while, we might see eventually a team say we're gonna fire and promote, which I don't think we see a lot. We see it on an interim basis, but never calculated, never right. Hey, I think we've got the next fucking Andy Reid in the building, and I'm sorry, Todd.
I mean, that's all. That's almost what Todd and what BA and Todd did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Todd's getting the Mike Tomlin treatment a little bit, where it's just kind of failing to meet expectations with talented teams, but still being somewhat successful. That's not enough. And Pittsburgh has a much more rabid fan base, I think, than Tampa in general.
Yeah.
But it does feel Todd's seat is heating up a little bit, and he's just not getting the same performance out of a talented roster as he needs to be.
Yeah.
I think that's what's frustrating about the Bucs.
And the reason I asked the question is it seems like such a controversial decision to make, but after the fact, it's also so obvious of why wouldn't you do that? Considering the situation and knowing how important, especially in the case
because people don't
play caller. Right.
That's why it's norms. Mm-hmm. But I think the norms should change.
Yeah.
I
especially to see these examples stack up of Ben Johnson going and Detroit struggling to figure it out. Liam Cohen, now Bucks figuring it out.
If we're talking about your head coach being on the hot seat multiple times over a couple year span, and it culminates in a terribly coached last year, if they beat Washington, I think they can make a little run, probably get beat by Philly, but still they match up well against Philly. Yeah. They shit down their leg in that game. That was just when you're around that building, I'm pretty sure if they look back on last year, they felt like that one got away because they didn't play their best ball and they played flat. That was, and so after a game like that, if you've got this stud offensive coordinator, the most important relationship in the building is the quarterback and the offensive coordinator or the play caller.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I'd be looking at that. But this year, Grizzard isn't the next thing. He hasn't shown to be the next thing. So now you're sitting here with your thumb up your ass. Mm-hmm. All right, well, what do we do? Right. More of the same.
Before the next game.
Yes.
Hello, BetMGM.
Oh, I want to say hello to BetMGM, you motherfuckers. After yesterday. Hope you feel good about what you did to my family. Speaking of holiday season, my kids aren't getting any presents. This holiday season, Mondays aren't just about wrapping up the weekend slate. They're about unwrapping a pro football same-game parlay boost token with BetMGM. Here's how to get in on the action. Add a same-game parlay wager for tonight's game to your bet slip. Activate your boost token. If your wager hits, you'll enjoy extra winnings in unrestricted bonus dollars, the perfect gift to yourself this season. And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, don't miss out on the holiday magic. Use bonus code GREENLIGHT, and you'll get up to a $1,500 new player offer on your first wager. BetMGM, make it legendary. You know, a lot of people say...
I got a bet for you.
What is it?
Jags money line. I've been saying it every week.
I've
been putting it in...
but it's risky. They're favorites a lot of the time.
And I've been putting it in the Green Light newsletter.
Here's what killed me.
Could it help?
Here's what killed me yesterday. And respectfully, what are we, 500 games above 500 on the pick show?
Yes.
We're not hurting.
Right.
Yesterday was a bad day.
You're the only plus 500. You were only in the plus.
But it was a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It was a bloodbath for those guys, too. It was like a tough weekend. Respectfully, your boy's been picking them. But yesterday, what happened was I didn't love the board. This is a lesson for people to gamble. If you don't like gambling, tough shit, just like earmuffs or something. Like act like a kid. If you don't like the board, you don't have to play anything. I didn't love the board yesterday, and I did a bunch of teasers, and the Steelers absolutely ruined my day. Steelers ruined my day. The other one that killed me was Thursday night. Green Bay started the slide. Unbelievable. See how professional I was about that game?
When you don't like the board, why not do props? Or is just
I like props. I don't love props. I might.
Kenny
Gainwell, stud. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Rodgers said
like on the season, you're like 500-ish on props, but like 700,
I'm
650
I'm 750 on the sides.
On sides.
And I would say that's a glitch, but it's happened 2 years in a row.
Right.
I'm just doing a good job. But I get in trouble when I try to do too much. And yesterday, the lesson is, if you don't like the board, you can just sit on your hands. And I should have. Including last night, chasing. You got to know when to. Fucking Kenny Rogers was looking at me like, bro, you know the song. Patriots 28, Ravens 24. And this is the one that. And I maintain. Bookending my weekend, I was on the right fucking side of Green Bay, and I was on the right side of this damn game. The problem is this game ended when Derrick Henry fumbled that football. They're up 7-0. They have a chance to control this football game, and I know New England comes back from 11 down in the fourth quarter, but that script plays out a little bit differently if you get a 2-touchdown lead to start. Derrick Henry with the fumble problems, just a total mess. When you watch Baltimore right now, I don't see a good football team. I thought this was a good spot for them last night, and I think it might have been if Lamar doesn't get hurt. But this is when you watch their team, like, what is their identity? Like, what do they do really well? They got a great Swiss Army knife at safety.
It's Kyle Allen.
I like Wiggins a lot. But Wiggins has got to catch that football. Like, as good as Drake Maye was in this game in spots, he also gave them opportunities, cracks in the door where they didn't take advantage. And obviously they had the pick early in the game, which I thought was on Boutte as much as anything. That was a total what the fuck are you doing, man?
The ball.
You gotta come back to the football. It looked like he kind of gave up on the play, but I think Drake Maye, the brilliance of what they can do to you was on display last night because Baltimore can't rush the passer. Baltimore has no rushers, and if you let Drake Maye sit back there and bake a cake, which early in the game I felt like a lot of time he was baking a cake, some of these deep overs and things that they'll run the cover three corner out of the picture. They'll run verticals and it's a dig or it's a deep over, and you need time to complete these kind of passes, these big chunks, and he's the perfect quarterback for it because he's got the arm that can access anywhere on the field. The throw to Williams that gets it all back in like one play is just the biggest arm arrogance throw where you're fighting out of this hole. They go quick game to get to half field, and then they just take the shot, and it's like, fuck, we're in a football game now. And they get the 2-point conversion and all that stuff at the end of the game. So just a really impressive, really backbreaking for the Ravens. No pun intended, because damn, Lamar leaves with the back. It feels like the beginning of the end for Baltimore, and it feels like for New England is a team that's had this easy schedule, and then they lost last week, and then this week they end up in a dogfight, and they find a way to win it. Like, this was really impressive. You lose some guys, you're playing with some injuries, but I thought, like, Drake Maye, the ups and downs, he got rattled in the middle of the game, but coming back to make those throws late. Stevenson, some of the blitz pickup, some of the big runs that he had in this game. It was just kind of a next man up thing. When Henderson gets hurt, that your offense loses a little bit of that explosive element to it. So I just think Drake Maye having the time, and then Wiggins not making the play that could have been game. Like, that's it. And for the Ravens, I don't know who the fuck you are, dude. And I don't know if that, like, even with Lamar playing quarterback, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are anymore. And I don't know what their identity is. It's frustrating to watch. It's a lot like watching the Bucs in a different form. You should be better, but you're not.
Well, they've always had such an identity, man, with Derrick Henry and Lamar, and now without those two guys playing well, it's just like, who the fuck are we? You know. Going back to the Patriots real quick, did we get? Have we heard anything about Henderson?
I have not, but as soon as his head hit the ground, I knew it was done. It was just a classic.
Yeah, exactly.
Whiplash
I mean,
game.
the way that thing whiplashed back.
I got to make a pee. You guys keep
Stop
breaking
trying
this
to
down.
pop up.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know if they have the analytics, how much those guardian caps. Like, I wonder if he wears a guardian cap, if that minimizes a chance for you to get a concussion in that spot right there when it bounces like that. Because I know it looks silly, but yo, if it's going to potentially save me from a concussion, I would be like, fuck it, and just wear it, because it's just like, I feel like you see it more and more. All you have to do is, doesn't even have to be like you getting tackled maliciously. If you fall the right way and your head bounces off the turf, it just sucks.
Right.
That for some people, that can equal a concussion every single time.
Right.
And then other people is just like we'll just shake it off.
Right. Is there, for all three of you guys, is there any reason, is there any defense John Harbaugh can have for not playing Derrick Henry on the final two drives?
No, there's no defense for that. There's no defense for that. I thought that was like a head scratcher. It was like, what are we doing here? I understand that, like, late in the game you're trying to throw the ball and, you know, maybe you like the other guys out of the backfield, but I thought that was a big
Kyle Shanahan, Harbaugh.
Somebody would say the fumbling issue.
Well,
He's
yeah, but I
fumbled in
mean,
big spots. Like, what
you've
if
also
he felt like he's fumbled in big spots, and hey, maybe he didn't earn, he hasn't earned to be in. I know.
No, I know what
crazy,
you're
but
saying.
just in the moment, because it feels like if you think about.
well, then
it
you
for the
should be.
Ravens-
Then you shouldn't be the head coach of the Ravens.
No,
because I'm not saying you.
No, yeah.
John, because your back's against the wall. It really doesn't matter what kind of lessons you're trying to teach anybody. It doesn't matter what kind of example you're trying to set. Like, he is your whole offense. You heard Chris Collinsworth talk about it when you come to the half. He's like, okay, Derek, you're the whole fucking game now. And it's hard to disagree. Like, that, he's the center of the universe in that stadium for both teams. It's like, can we stop this big SOB? And I don't think they could. I don't think they could stop him. And you take him off the field, it was just kind of crazy because he fumbled. Then they put him back in, and he's toting the rock, and then they take him out.
Game, yeah.
Then they take him out. So I've had enough of this Ravens football team. I've had enough of the playoff letdowns. I've had enough of the lack of discipline. I've had enough of, like, them fooling us and us thinking they had this shiny car, and they really didn't. Like, it just – there's too many holes in the roster, and I think most of the football world missed it. Now, luckily, I didn't fall into the pick them for the division trap. That's my Cats, who fucking, I still maintain they're the best team in the division. But they're going to be at home again. The Ravens are going to be at home too. And the Steelers on a Sunday, where the Steelers played their best game, the Ravens showed up, and they really, for about 10 minutes, it felt like they were going to do the same. But they make too many mistakes. That's their whole deal encapsulated, man. That's their whole deal encapsulated. So I think for the Patriots, really good to find different ways to win football games.
Yeah.
Really good to find different ways to win football games.
It's still a little bit of scary hours, I feel like, in New England. That run defense has to tighten up a little bit. They started the season.
They got to get Milton back.
They got to get Milton back. They got to get Splain back. Like, you're not going to be able to win games in the postseason if you can't stop the run. It just opens up too many options for an offense against you. So they have to try to figure that out on defense, or things can start getting ugly, because even though you can and the team is built for shootouts, I don't think the Pats want to be the team trying to win games with shootouts.
They'd have a hard time beating the Jags.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
They'll have a hard time.
I don't think they
want to do that. I think they want to play traditional smash mouth, let's control the clock type football. But if teams are going to be able to run and score on you quick.
As a Bills guy, they don't scare me the most in the AFC, not even close. But I still respect the fuck out of what Texans scare me the most, and then the Jags probably. And you know, the Broncos, I feel like for some reason what I've seen from their defense, like turning into a normal defense all of a sudden when they play good offenses, like it kind of feels like the Bills can beat that team. Like, so I'm just saying, like, from my vantage point, the Pats, to put it in context, don't worry me as much as the other teams in the AFC. Not to say that they're not a good football team, or I don't love Vrabel, or I don't love Drake Maye. You guys were all sitting there with your futures just hoping that they would fucking pass the 6.5 win mark to get the over on the win total. So, like, even if you're a Pats fan, let's not act like you saw this coming. All right? Like, you still need to see it proved in the playoffs. So I think they're a year ahead. So they're one of these teams that, like, hey, you're a year ahead. You shouldn't even be here. You should be psyched because your quarterback's that fucking good and your coach is that good. Speaking of the AFC North, we got the Steelers.
And a team in the Steelers that might look a little different the next two games, the final two games of the regular season, as about 20 minutes ago, Tom Pelissero reported that the NFL is suspending DK Metcalf 2 games without play for physically confronting a Lions fan during Sunday's win at Detroit. Metcalf has reported this same fan to security last season when the Seahawks played the Lions. They've had maybe not altercations, but run-ins before. That fan did release a statement by a Michigan law firm saying that this fan categorically denies using any racial, misogynistic, or hate-based language during the incident. Something that was reported, surmised, believed to have been said. It was talked about on last night on Nightcap.
Yeah.
But in the past, there have been issues with TK and this particular fan.
All right, so I think it's an interesting conversation because whenever I see something like this, it was so ridiculous when I saw it. Like, you just don't see it. Like, I've not seen something like that. Puka's brother did it in, like, one of these minor league football leagues, like, a couple weeks ago. I don't see this in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't seen this. So when I see it, I'm like, man, the dude must have said something really foul. And so obviously your head goes to the one place that, you know, Ocho seemed to go last night on Nightcap. But then, you know, you saw there was a video that came out today with different angles, and, you know, you couldn't hear anything. That's not to say the guy could have mouthed something. Like, whatever it was, only the people in that section in DK know, and maybe the security guards. I think maybe that stuff comes to light. Maybe it doesn't. It's kind of a thing where, you know, you can say, hey, you can't do that. You just can never do that. But I'm not going to sit here and tell a guy that if he's called that word,
how to react.
I can't tell you how to react. You know, all bets are off. I understand that ideally, when we look at this level-headedly, we say, hey, the player has a choice. If that's what's said, the player has a choice. And again, I'm not telling you what to do in this situation, but the choices are this. Either you can not react, report him to security, get him ejected. I've done that to a fan in Seattle. I got that motherfucker ejected. Okay? Then the second thing is you can react. You can backhand this motherfucker. You can yank him by his collar onto the field. You can beat the dog shit out of him if you want to, but there are repercussions, and the repercussions are going to hurt your football team. And so you have a choice, but now you can hurt your pockets, hurt your image, which sucks because everybody always talks about DK as being a really good guy. You know, I heard Greg Olson talk about him this morning on a podcast about how he's a great guy, wears his heart on his sleeves, but definitely a guy that's going to want this back. And so I don't know what was said. Believe me, I'm the first one that, like, it drives me nuts that people on the internet, there's no recourse. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve, is that, like, people can just say whatever the fuck they want to people with no recourse. And that's the way the world is now. And if you're a fan, you can say whatever you want to the player and there's no recourse. But if you're the player and you decide to enact a recourse, some retribution, you're definitely going to be sitting down for a little bit. And that's so it's kind of like the freedom of speech thing, where it's like freedom of speech is not freedom of consequences. You know, you say something ridiculous, you might get smacked in the face. That doesn't mean they're not going to arrest the guy that hits you in the face. Like, that's the way the world works. You know, so I don't have a take. My take is it hurts the football team. I wasn't there. And obviously, if he was a teammate of mine, my take would be, fuck, man, we kind of need you down the stretch, don't we? You know, we can, you know, maybe we can see.
Yeah, I mean, they got the Ravens again.
Yeah, dude. So it really
they got the
hurts,
Ravens
man.
again. That's a big game for. I mean,
for that
you guys might have to correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't that pretty much going to be potentially the game for the AFC North?
Well, they have
Steelers at Ravens.
Right now, the
Ravens
Steelers. Right now, the Steelers do have a bit of a leg up because they're 9-6. Ravens are 7-8. 94% for the Steelers to win the division and make the playoffs. So they have a bit of a cushion unless they stumble against the Browns this week. You know, see if those guys give them a little bit of a battle. But it was interesting. The fans said that he called DK by his full name. And then after the game, Mike Tomlin was asked, "Hey, what do you think of the DK incident?" And we had seen it, like, this was late second quarter. We saw it. We saw what happened. But it's one of those things that we see it because we're taking in the game. There's cameras everywhere. We see it. But you all on the field don't. You know, you're.
Well, you might hear about it. You might hear about it. Somebody's like, "Yo, did you see what DK just did? Whoa, he's still out here?" Like, that would have been.
But my thing about it is, I just feel like so many people probably were just paying attention to the game that no one did see it, because I feel like if it was a bigger situation, maybe if he did pull him over the banister and like he fell into like onto the field, it would have been something that would have been more of a buzz. But since it wasn't, it was just kind of like a quick slap and then he just walked away from it. A coach wouldn't know about that, like, because coaches aren't really rushing into the locker room to look at their phones or pay attention to social media to see what memes or whatever's going on. And then it's a situation where I feel like if Tomlin did know about it, as a coach protecting your players, like, no, I didn't see it.
Well, listen.
Like, I don't want to talk about it. Let me get to my my PR people on the team to figure out what are we going to say about whatever happened.
Dude, they're in there right now frantically drawing up an offense that doesn't feature DK Metcalf, and that's an ugly deal. I'd hate to be them doing this right now. And so they're probably just like – they're probably kind of livid that he did something, but also, like, you know, it depends on –
Can you appeal quick enough? Because it's something where –
he's not going to win an appeal.
I know, but if it's something for protecting the players, if DK tried to get like a restraining order on this fan before or try to get him removed, it's something
but he walked up to the guy he's trying to get a restraining order from. That's the problem.
Yeah, but
you walked up to the guy you're trying to – you know what I'm saying?
But
like,
he kind of pulled him down too.
I know, but at the same token, it's like whatever that guy's doing, like it obviously – makes DK.
People don't understand in here. That's the problem. And like I get it. Like it's easy to look at this thing and be like, well, you're so stupid. Why would you react? And you might be right. Like, because you are making that decision that I talked about, where you're like, you're choosing to make your life a living hell. But y'all don't know what it's like to have. You just literally don't, to have a bunch of people that are strangers saying reckless things to you from behind a wall at work. And I totally get that, like, these guys are paid millions and they're babies and whatever, like, whatever you want to say to make it, but like, nobody tries you because nobody's trying you, like, nobody's worried about you. So it's like, this is a deal where you just have to understand that sometimes, like, your temper gets the most of you. Like, I've been in situations with fans where, like, I got mad enough that, like, I thought about, like, you know, things cross your mind, but there's no word, if that's what it was, that would get me there. And I don't know what that's like. So I'm just being real. He should be suspended. It was a dumb decision, but he's also a human being, where it's like, dude, people lose their cool. It doesn't make it right. Listen, Lamar Jackson in the Buffalo game to start the season gets shoved, and then he goes and shoves the fan back. Everybody's okay with it because they're like, well, what the fuck? They shoved him. But to the same degree, those people should be okay with this because a shove doesn't demand that you defend yourself. Like Lamar's not in danger. So it's just like you got to look at this with some nuance where it's like Lamar didn't have to do that either, but we were all okay with it because the guy made physical contact, which doesn't make any sense really when you talk it out pragmatically. Like you just walk away from the guy and avoid the chance of you incurring a punishment.
It just sucks that it's just one of those things where obviously always the player has way more than lose. Like way more than lose than that fan that's getting that adrenaline rush from getting under your skin or doing whatever he's doing that maybe he thinks he's helping his team win, or I'm agitating one of their best guys. So this is I'm part of this. I don't know what it is, but it's just one of those things where
but hold on,
it's not smart, and then it's dangerous because you do have some guys like DK Metcalf and some guys that they have money put away for legal stuff to get that slap off and feel good about it at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's got the slap fund. Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't have I didn't have a slap fund yesterday when I had the Lions in a damn teaser 4 ways, and DK's catching back shoulder fades like 10 minutes after he assaults the fan, and I'm like, get him out of here. I almost called the NFL league office and was like, hey man, this guy hit a fan. I don't know if you guys saw that, but like your boy is struggling here, and why is he in the game?
It would have ruined the NFL script. They got to get Tomlin his wins, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And that's interesting because I wonder if this will be a change maybe in the offseason, but the NFL said because there wasn't a flag on the play, he couldn't.
It's just so unprecedented.
Right, exactly. Like, of course there's not going to be a flag on the play. The referees aren't looking at the sideline.
Well, that's an interesting one. Like
because there wasn't a flag on the play, why are you suspending him for 2 games after the fact?
Well, but they're 2 different conversations. There's no flag on the play when Ray Rice hits the woman in the elevator, but and I'm not likening the two, but I'm giving you the extreme example of like, well, there's no flag on that play.
I got you.
Like conduct is conduct, especially when it's on camera, and I'm not likening a DV case to him grabbing a fucking guy in a blue wig.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is like, it doesn't have to be, well, because you didn't eject him, you can't suspend him. Like that's just not, that logic doesn't hold up. These Steelers, man, they get off on like losing their air supply for a minute. They really do. Like we got to fire Mike Tomlin to start fucking playing well. And that seems to be like the way that they've been since I got in this business watching these games. And so, now the question is the postseason. Is it going to be any different? Because I'm not sure. Like if they're 1 and done in the postseason, it's ugly. Like I don't know what people think. Are we just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result? They're down both edges. Okay, they're down to their 4th-string left tackle. They deserve a lot of credit for winning this game. This was an uncharacteristic spot for them, and I think Steelers fans know what I'm talking about when you say, wow, your team just showed up. The defense played physical. The defense played like they were this defense that you were talking about all year without T.J. Watt, without Herbig. Honestly, ironically, because you talk about the price of this defense and how much you pay to acquire all the people on it, all the massive stars, it's really the supporting cast that played great yesterday. I think Harmon is huge for them. Sawyer made some plays. Duggar with the safety. I think Thielen, Detroit covered him like 1 time in the middle of the field. Like this guy's going to make a difference for them. So, I Gainwell, you talk about these cast-offs. Just a really good team win, controlling time of possession, going into Ford Field after a Lions loss. We all know the story. I thought I knew the story. I think this is the first time they've lost a consecutive game since 22 or something like that, which is fucking insane.
Yep.
Which is why I want to give Dan Campbell in this program a little bit of grace. But I got to say, it kind of felt like yesterday is the day that like the Detroit Lions bank defaulted. You know what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden I'm like, your money's not worth what I thought it was. I just feel like they have such a hard road ahead of them this offseason to get back to where they were. And they got to do it through personnel, and they got to do it fast, because I think what they're out to prove is that it wasn't about the guys. It's about the culture, the X's and O's. It's about the when Ben Johnson leaves, you say, well, it's not going to be a big deal. John Morton, halfway through the season, you got OCDC. Ragnar retires, not going to be a big deal. It's a culture thing. It's a scheme thing. Well, it's not a scheme thing because Ben's gone. Well, culture can only do so much when center play has been bad all year and when your O-line depth is not great. And so, like, for as good a job as Brad Holmes has done, I love Dan Campbell. They got a lot of work to do this offseason. And I said this on the live show last night, and this is I love the Lions, and I'm glad we can have this conversation again like adults, because at the beginning of the season when I said they'd take a step back, a lot of people told me I hated the Lions. I picked them to win the division 2-3 years running. Fucking love Detroit. One of my favorite things that I've done as a professional podcaster has been sitting down in person with Dan Campbell. He's one of my favorite people in the NFL. Love the program. But I got to call it how I see it. If you're planning on listening to this podcast and watching it for years to come, not every year am I going to like your team. And it's not personal. I just saw that the interior offensive line, which is kind of like when you play a boss in a video game growing up, there's always like a core that if you can affect this core, if you can get this little button, you can beat the big
mini
boss.
bosses.
Yes. And they've got they were like a big boss where the interior offensive line is the thing that holds up the whole house of cards. And I'm not calling it a house of cards necessarily because they have great players outside those guys, but everything gets harder when you can't protect Jared Goff and you can't reset the line of scrimmage. So, I mean, to get the ball run up their ass, to get the clock controlled with their backs against the wall trying to make the playoffs, the line of scrimmage dominated. They don't run the ball for 20 yards on the game. TJ Watt's not on the field. Herbig's not playing. Interior line bad. Depth got exposed. Couldn't block the edges. I felt like in this game, Austin and those guys were like, hey, ends, don't worry about the boot. Don't worry about any eye candy. You go tackle the fucking running back. And Highsmith lived in the backfield. And here's the last thing I'm going to say, Bo. Jared Goff's great. Just threw for 360. I like Jared Goff. But if you want me to bullshit you, I'll tell you that I don't see any inefficiency here with this offense. Here's what I see. Go watch Chicago play. You saw it the other night. Now, I know Ben Johnson's there. Watch how edge defenders are afraid to trigger. Watch how edge defenders are worried about the boot. Watch how edge defenders are worried about the nakeds. There is nothing to worry about when you play this Detroit team with Jared Goff as a quarterback. And I just want to make that clear. I think Jared Goff is a fantastic quarterback. He's I called him fringe top 10 a couple years ago, and people thought I punched a baby. I'm just saying he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL in a consistent manner that other guys haven't been. So that counts for something. To be 7 every year or 8 or what have you, that's not an insult. That's a capital C compliment. But the problem is he does not handle pressure at his feet well. And he can't give you all the other stuff that a modern offense can. Now, you can work around that if you got a dynamic run game and play action. You open up the middle of the field. The problem is, though, you look at them backed up in that game yesterday, and this is a rep that I think is like pretty indicative of like the deficiencies with the quarterback is he's got a dig coming open. It's Jamison Williams across the field, but his feet are muddy. And he's got to take that extra gather, where other guys can make those kind of really athletic off-platform throws, the one-legged throws, the falling away throws, like fucking Caleb Williams threw the ball to DJ Moore the other night off his left foot falling away from Quay Walker 65 yards. Jared Goff has a fucking cannon on his shoulder, but it takes a second to, you know what I'm saying? And so I look at this offense and I say they need to get this thing right and in a hurry, and they need to take better care of that quarterback, and they need to get their bread and butter back, which is dominating and resetting the line of scrimmage. If they can't do that, you can in the second half of this game like start getting at the corners and throwing the ball around the yard, but that's not your identity. And I think for Detroit this offseason, they have to be very surgical about the guys they bring in free agency and draft. They can get back right where they were. Now, we're just talking about offense because the defense was putrid. And I know you're going to talk about how the Steelers won on the ground, Bo, but I got to say, when you play guys like Thomas Harper, and not to like single out a single guy, but I am, just to use an example, like week after week after week after week, I know that like these guys are scrappy on the back end. And I know, Millette and Amik Robertson, they're tough dudes, and it's injuries that drive a lot of these guys to have to play a lot of snaps, but like they've lived that way the past 2 years. It's just like that's the world they're living in on a consistent basis, and I don't understand it. So, defensively, they still are trying to find that second rusher outside of Hutch. There was a snap. I just want to give Hutch some love. He beat one of the best sacks I've seen all year. He beat 2 guys clean, both of them. I mean, it was like he had full slide, And I mean, he beat the tackle inside the guard sitting there waiting for him. He beats him for a sack. I think Jack Campbell's a hell of a football player. I think there's a lot of good football players in this D-line, but they have to find a second rusher, and they need to get the cover guys that they want on the field, and they need to stay out on the field as long as they can because it's hard to watch. That was my TED Talk.
Jack Campbell had 16 tackles, man. But yeah, I mean, Chris, I was interested in this game because I love watching the Lions run game. You talk about their bread and butter, what they like to do, and that's, run the ball, get quarterback under center, duo. Like, they run the fuck out of duo. But they ran the ball only 12 times for 15 yards here, which is not at all – like, that stat is going to keep Dan Campbell up at night. I'm trying to figure out why, and you really summarized it pretty well. The interior of their offensive line has just struggled, man. Graham Glasgow has been injured. He just got back in. I think it was his first game. Or no, he's injured. Sorry. His backup is Kingsley Agukwa, I think is how you say his name. But Agukon, he struggled, man. So that was a big problem. Tate Radledge didn't play his best game. It was Mahogany's first game back at left guard, and those guys are really struggling, to combo up from first level up to the backers. And the Steelers did a nice job defensively of running backers through and blitzing the close side and things like that, which are all basic, like 5-down blitzes to stop the run game. But to just only run the ball 12 times at a Dan Campbell offense feels like just a travesty, man. They tried to your point, like they tried to get out of duo and go to more gap scheme stuff. Like they ran a power down in like the low red zone. And what you're talking about, those edge players, man, Jack Sawyer literally just ran to the backfield for like a 5-yard TFL, and the guards couldn't even get over there in time. There's another time in like the third quarter, I think, where they tried to run like a stutter, which is it's a counter to the open side away from the tight end. For all yous that don't know, Dr. Fax talking to you. And the edge player literally just, again, ran, I think it was Highsmith, ran right around the pulling guard and had another like 3-yard TFL. So it's like, if you can't get these basic run, like if you can't block up power, stutter, and duo, those are like 3 of the most basic run plays, day one run install with your guys, like you're going to have a really tough time. So I think, you're talking a little bit about the Lions offseason needs. Shoring up their offensive line is very high on that list. On the other side of the ball here, the Pittsburgh did a really good job rushing. They had 27 rushes for 230 yards. Now, Arthur Smith, his bread and butter is it's zone. Okay, so it's a zone run scheme. One thing that they did that I really liked is did a really good job of running. They ran the ball, like I said, like almost 30 times. They ran a fuck ton of obviously inside zone, outside zone. But then they really stressed the perimeter with crack toss and then end around. And that I just really like the way they mixed those in. They made a lot of hay there. Just softens up the perimeter and gets those guys a little slow. So when the running back is cutting back, kind of rolling all the way back, just sets up all your other run plays. And defensively, the Lions, they were just kind of overrunning blockers on the backside, and the Steelers running backs were just kind of cutting back and doing that. And then, man, the Steelers also had a very basic, it's like a lead week.
Yeah.
I think they ran it out of 12 personnel, but it's 21. It's a classic lead open. Like think like, 2000s NFL, and it went for like 50 yards, and that's a play that I'm sure the Lions have defended in practice a million times. So the bottom line is the Lions interior kind of injuries and struggles, like they really are missing guys like Frank Ragnow. I think back a couple years, dudes like Kevin Zeitler, kind of those maulers on the inside that really make their offense go. But they got out physicaled by the Steelers on both sides of the ball up front, which is really something you haven't seen from the Lions the last couple of years. Is pretty disappointing performance from those dudes up front.
There's just too many games when you look at their yards per carry, which is just like it's pretty reductive. But you're like, these aren't Lions numbers this year. And I know we're focusing on the offense more than the defense. The defense is the group giving up 44 points to the Rams and shit. But I mean, when you talk about what made this group great, it was that offensive attitude. It was that we can pick up we'll run trap on 3rd and 5. We're going to go on 4th and 2, and you don't have an answer. Or it's like you just can't stop the bleeding in the run game. So when Jared Goff goes to hand the ball off and turns his back, you've got linebackers pulled up into the A-gaps, and I'm going to hit the dig behind them. Like that's the Lions, man. And if you don't have that domination up front, it really throws the balance off. And so I worry about them in the future from that standpoint. Culturally, I don't. I think they got the right coach and everything, but they have to make some not big swings in personnel, because you're talking about positions that are easy to actually acquire. Guards, centers, interior offensive line. But you have to be fucking surgical this offseason. You can't miss. You can't miss. You got to get right back on the bicycle next year. And, of course, they're not out, but, I mean, Packers got to what? Packers got to lose out?
Packers need to lose out, for the Lions to get in.
So, I mean, and listen, they are a different team than they were last year. I think it's okay to admit that. I know it's like a year of fighting it, but totally different team. They can get back there, but, again, we don't even know how big the Ben Johnson void is. Like, I really don't know the answer to that question until somebody new comes in to call the plays. All right.
Real fast, the end of this game saw some pretty wacky stuff. The pool report said that Cheffers said the official
we gotta talk about
called
this.
the foul, said that the receiver created separation, so obvious pass interference from Amon-Ra. There was a couple plays before there was a touchdown called. What do you all think of the Tesla?
I didn't think it was that bad.
I thought the Tesla thing was a blown call. Obviously, I'm on the other side of it from a gambling perspective, so don't shoot me. But like, I didn't think that was an egregious one. Obviously, at the end of the game, I got no qualms about the way that game ends. The only problem I have is the NFL looks consistently underprepared to quell concerns that the NFL is scripted. Because, like, literally every person that breathes through their mouth is staring at the TV like, here they go. They're telling them what to do here. No, it was the right call. It was the right call. It's like last week when Sam Darnold fucking threw that dime on the right side, and you got your whole the NFL's rigged crowd going, look at the way they did the completion thing, obviously, and you're like, well, but wait, wasn't the ball completed? This is the right call. And they took fucking 5 minutes to get there to the point where it's surreal watching. I've never seen this before. Aaron Rodgers and Jared Goff standing there watching
the replay
together to see, like, how does this game end? There's dudes, like, at the hash. Like, the sideline is moved to the hash. Nobody knows what to do. Fans are, like, ready to have a conniption there. It was clearly a push-off. Amon-Ra St. Brown clearly interfered, and his forward progress was probably stopped. But if it wasn't, even so, you can't end the game on an offensive penalty like that. You don't get another go on that. So it was the right call. It's just like the NFL can't get out of their own way on the presentation of getting to the right call.
Yeah.
And that's a theme that's popping up a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
As the vantage point improves,
right,
our vantage point continues to outpace their ability to call the games effectively.
And certainly the complexion of that play didn't help at all, because you had Amon-Ra called for the penalty on the push-off. Then he catches the pass. Then he's driven backwards, likely a stoppage of his forward momentum. Then he pitches it, and the referees have to determine if it was a forward lateral or a legal lateral backwards. And then Goff runs the ball in when half the defense is just standing around. He ran right by 94, who was celebrating the fact that he thought the Steelers just won the game, which they ultimately did. But it was certainly a very complex play that the officials were certainly unprepared for.
That was a shit show.
Goff thought he was going to have his Trevor Lawrence moment. Nope.
And again, for those of you who are a little bit more sensitive and tender, I think Goff is a great quarterback. He has to be in a certain kind of system, like most guys. Again, like here it comes again. This is a good way to think about quarterbacks in the NFL. There's a couple in any weather quarterbacks. There's quarterbacks you can win with. There's quarterbacks that you got to win in spite of. And I think that Goff is definitely a win-with guy. He's not an any weather guy. I'll tell you what, you put him in fucking Cam Ward's offense, it's going to be an ugly deal. There's just certain guys that, things have to be set up properly for him. So that doesn't make him a guy with a lot of strengths. I mean, he's got some fucking strengths in his game.
Talking about a quarterback that has just about all the strengths and can win in just about any offense, Justin Herbert.
We already did the Panthers breakdown.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Him too.
No, Herbert, man. Okay, like we're not going to talk long about this game. The Cowboys are officially eliminated. This was their first game planned for nothing this season, which is an annual deal for them. But the touchdown to Quentin Johnson, you've got Becton falling at your legs. Like he gets run slam over on the play. It's kind of a perfect encapsulation of their season. You got this statuesque quarterback. Like it's like he's like a jugs machine back there.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a jugs machine that you can turn sideways and like that runs 20 miles an hour. And the ball was such a dot. And Quentin Johnson, his good play is elevated to like a really good play. So like when he plays well, he's a weapon for them, right? But with Becton falling at his feet, with everything with the offensive line, like that's what this season's been all about. And then there was a ball late in the game. There's deep over to Johnson in the fourth. And I told Nolan, I turned to him, I go, you guys, this fucking ball looks teleported. It looks like he teleported the ball. I heard the Space Ghost thing. Mm-hmm. You know, like it was crazy, man. It was, and then it's just like right here. Receiver puts the hands up. It's right. Nobody's throwing the ball better than Justin Herbert, considering what he's got to deal with.
Yeah.
The stuff that they've gone through up front, Reed put it in good perspective yesterday. He was like, listen, I saw a stat with like all the Cleveland Browns changes up front, their offensive line. Chargers like double that.
9 different starting offensive line combinations for the Browns, 16 going into yesterday for the Chargers.
It's obscene. Do you know how many times the Chargers season looked over?
Yeah.
And sure, do they have to avoid the meltdown that happened, you know, like when they went to Jacksonville? That was an ugly deal, right? This team's floor is probably a little lower than you'd like it to be considering everything going on with them. But the way the defense has started to play late in the season, I think getting Owe, the pressure he's been getting on people,
really
Thule, Mack, just really, really good defensive football, and another future head coach in Jesse Minter. But you talk about a culture. They flashed the fucking Harbaugh stat in his second year up there. What have I been saying since he got hired? I said I was in that division as a young boy, a wee lad in the NFC West, and they had a guy named Mike Singletary who said you can't win with him, can't win, you know, the whole thing, Vernon Davis. And then Jim Harbaugh comes in, and he's like, you know what, this fucking roster's pretty good. I don't think anybody knows it, but we're going to be in the NFC Championship real soon. And it was like, and that was a strike-shortened season for him to get them to where they got the first year, and then the second year, he's exactly on schedule with the Chargers. It's almost like he knows exactly what he's doing. He's got the same damn offensive coordinator in Greg Roman, who I got to say, I'm impressed. I didn't think he's a rocket scientist or anything like that, and I know he takes his lumps, and people are always going to nitpick, but they're doing this without a lot of guys out there. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like they had the biggest stable outside that you know in the NFL coming into the season. So this is an incredible coaching job. It's an incredible quarterbacking job. I mean, the ball he threw that I talked about in the fourth quarter, Diggs undercuts this pass, and 25 other quarterbacks that's a pick. So I know some people can't take the glaze. They don't want to hear it because they've been mad at Justin Herbert since his rookie year because he had shaggy hair and he was 6'5", and he's from like the West Coast. And maybe he didn't want to talk to Laura Rutledge 2 weeks ago because he wanted to celebrate with his teammates. Oh, wait, he did talk to Laura Rutledge. This guy's he's a stud. And it's okay to finally admit that what you've been seeing is real. They have as good a chance as anybody to make a run, and that's a wild thing to say considering everything they've been through.
Yeah, defense playing like a top 10 group. And then I thought the run game was actually pretty good yesterday, too. 5.3 yards per carry for Amara and Hampton. They were working the gap scheme stuff really well, which obviously lends well when you're playing the Cowboys, that kind of one-gapping style that creates vertical seams. So
yeah,
Vidal should get a season-long STO Memorial Award from us just for that stretch in there when, I mean, they lose Harris, they lose Hampton.
That's right.
And he jumps in, and Herbert's like, oh, man, I got a little Robin over here. We can hang out. We can do some good things.
I got from the chat a couple. Justin Herbert needs to show he can handle the playoffs before he gets placed in the top of anything. Well, tell that to Dan Marino. The grumpy old dad. He's got an Eagles logo next to him. Man, come on, bro. Like, just you're being a homer. You're being a homer. I know what you're doing. You're projecting. Justin Herbert's an incredible quarterback. And ask anybody in the NFL. Ask anybody in the NFL what their top 5, 6 quarterbacks looks like this season. They're not saying, well, Justin Herbert hasn't done it in the playoffs. I know we just said it for Trevor Lawrence, but the lows have not been Trevor Lawrence low. No offense to Trevor Lawrence. That's the way this thing works. Mm-hmm. It's a body of work combined with what's going on right now. And I think what's going on right now is evidence that he's capital E elite quarterback this season. So
put belt to ass to the Chargers.
And obviously the Jags are much better, and the Jags are maybe the best team.
If the season ended right
of all time.
Super Bowl
for the Jaguars.
Well, not to mention the Jags have the mental edge over them. Every time they go down to Duval, they get fucking either blow a huge lead or they get their ass kicked.
Bermuda.
I don't know that they can beat. There's a couple teams in the playoffs that I'm like, man, I got to believe it to see it with the group they have up front.
Is it the travel maybe? That long?
In that game, it wasn't the travel.
They're like Mr. Krabs.
They just got their ass kicked.
Nah, that was Liam's.
They're like
Mr.
Party. Krabs.
They got their ass kicked. Yeah. But guys, I mean, like I'm trying to let you in on a little secret here. Like adults, we actually, the way we talk about quarterbacks at the adult table, like Justin's always mentioned. At the kids table, maybe not, but at the adults table, we're always talking about Justin Herbert. When all your favorite players and GMs and head coaches get together, the people that you respect, they're talking about this guy the way we're talking about this guy.
Trevor's last year at the kids table.
Oh my God, huh?
Is Trevor's last year at the kids
It might be. He's moving up. He's moving out.
About to kick someone off the grown-up table.
Yeah. So, yeah, for the people who are in denial, I asked what your take was 3 years ago. I think there might be a correlation. Okay, so you're half of you are probably the ones that thought Tua was better, yeah?
Tua.
Probably shouldn't drive a car. They should probably have a check at the DMV at the last. It's a box you got to check. Is Justin Herbert or Tua better? Okay, Bill. Speaking of another elite quarterback, let's talk about this. Shedeur Sanders.
I love it. I love it.
I'm just kidding. No, I mean, listen. This was a kitchen sink game for the Bills. This is a classic trap spot. The Cleveland Browns play a lot of teams close at home. If you don't know that coming into Cleveland now at this point, like they beat the Packers at home earlier this season. There's a whole bunch of these games sprinkled in, especially like early in the game where teams just like, I don't know what it is. Well, I'll tell you what it was yesterday for the Bills. Their defense in the first half was atrocious. When you talk about ball control, you talk about kitchen sink. They ran plays in this game, Cleveland did, that people run like once a game. They ran them like 3 times, like jet sweeps, reverses, the whole thing. The run game was cooking. Judkins, that injury is huge. And obviously that doesn't matter this year because the Cleveland Browns aren't going anywhere. But, like, I would argue he's the most important guy in your offense, man. And that's tough to say about a running back because that is the thing about running backs is they get hurt. But the guy's got such a bright future, and he should be a centerpiece for you guys. And here he is in December getting hurt. And I don't know when he's going to come back next year. That's a really tough deal for them. So – But I think talking about the Bills, they kind of end up in this game where you're facing a good defense in Cleveland, and you kind of feel like, hey, if we really decided to, we can go down and end this thing at any time, but they play with their food. I thought there were situations where Brandon Cooks has got to catch the ball, man. Like, I love Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks, a couple weeks in a row, killing Josh with the drops, and then Knox in the end zone, bro. There were just – they got to put this team away better than they did. I thought the defense in the second half played up. I thought Milano, for people that watch the Bills, he fell off, but now he's kind of like playing a little bit better. And the way they're using him, like the lack of pass rush and as sorry as they are on the run fit, if I were the Bills and I were Sean McDermott, I would be blitzing backers every first and second down. Like, I would just be trying to create havoc, and I think Milano's doing a really good job right now. He's always been a real good short area quickness guy with good instincts, but, like, they're using him as kind of a knife in the run game, and he's creating some off-schedule play or some out-of-sync plays for offenses. So Rousseau rushed his ass off. That's not saying much on that left tackle over there, but he rushed his ass off. And, some really good late game tackling. Bishop, Teron Johnson. Again, the Cook touchdown's beautiful. They get a 5-man front. They check him into a counter look. They pull the center. Knox can't even get across the formation. Cook gets the fucking line of scrimmage. There's 2 guys standing right there. He dices him up and reverses field 3 times. He's a great player. There was a moment in this game where Myles Garrett damn near had Josh, and they gave him half a sack on that thing. How would you rule that sack?
They gave him half a sack in the almost safety one?
Yeah.
Yes.
He didn't even touch him.
Yeah, he didn't.
I think
It's like
if Mason Graham's not a rookie, I don't know. I don't think he's getting half a sack there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's Shelby Harris,
Yeah.
Miles isn't getting a part of that.
But is that – that's crazy. I thought they tried – because how many sacks did they have in the game total?
Yeah, I mean,
2.
That's
two.
the one. That's the one they gave him a half on. Definitely.
yeah.
Even if he didn't touch him, like
I think they were like kind of giving him the pressure. Okay, he pressured him into a sack kind of thing, but
that
it was
doesn't
definitely a
equal
little.
half, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's not a Brett Favre situation because
It was close. It was close to that.
Josh was being a big dummy, where Josh was like. Josh is running away from Miles. He's like, no, I don't want Miles to sack me. And then he lost like another 10 yards. I'm like, bro, like, you could just throw the ball away or like take a sack. Like, no big deal. You almost gave up a safety. He almost got hurt. He did get hurt. Went to the locker room with like a foot. You could tell that it was a foot because it looked like they were going to go like tape it or something. We'll see how that affects him next week. They do play the Eagles. So, I think for the Bills, that was going to be a knockdown drag out a little bit. Like the Browns at home. And if you're wondering how Shedeur played, I thought he did some okay things. Like they don't have to trust him. Why would they? Like in that game, they're just running the ball up the Bills' ass, and everything's a boot or a screen. I thought there were some games the first month because now we're going to like 5 weeks of Shedeur. Has it been 5 weeks? 4 or 5 starts now. He's made some really high quality throws, but you want to see everything between the high quality throws, like. The timing, the rhythm improve. So I think that's a marathon, not a sprint with that quarterback. But the Browns don't have to make any decisions on anything. They're not going anywhere. So
5 starts for Shedeur.
5 starts.
Yep. And
but I will tell you this. I love the way he's conducting himself at the damn podium. We always talk about this, and he does it with a smile on his face, which I think is a really good quality. He seems like a likable kid where it's like, hey, was it the right decision going 4th and 2? He's like, come on, you can't ask me that question. He's done this a few times where he's basically saying fuck you without saying it, and he's got a smile on his face, which really works. And I think, like, for everything he's had to deal with from a pressure standpoint, I like seeing him stand tall there and just keep doing the right thing at the podium because that's all you can control.
He's letting those reporters know that they can't get away with that kind of stuff, which I think the reporters kind of they like a little bit. They like that little back and forth. You said it a little bit up and down for him. The final drive displayed everything. He threw that great ball to Corley for the first down. Kind of moved him into like they were one play from taking or tying or taking the lead. But then he was sacked. And then he felt pressure, drifted back, and almost had that intentional grounding.
That's right,
out of the back of the end zone. So
yeah,
a lot of good.
He was this close to doing the Orlovsky thing.
Orlovsky was.
I think it's a good opportunity. I think it's who do they play this week? I feel like I had it in my head, and
no, we talked about
Browns,
Steelers, right?
Yes, Steelers.
This is a great opportunity. Steelers want to fucking win, and that's a defense that made Dylan Gabriel look like couldn't operate. So if you want to, listen, you've already won the battle with Dylan Gabriel. I think that ain't saying much because they're both like down towards the bottom of the league in a lot of key metrics. Actually, like ironically, in some of them, they're like it's like 39-40.
Yeah.
Okay, so that if you're a Browns fan, if you're a Shedeur fan, you definitely want him beating out Dylan Gabriel, but that's not really the end of the road. The end of the road here is to, over the next couple of weeks, like really prove that you can make all the throws against a hungry defense. Now, taking into context that this offensive line is pretty jacked up and you don't have Judkins in the game. So I did think Kevin Stefanski called a great game. I know he's everybody's Mussolini now. But
Him and Tommy Reese.
He's like an Axis Powers person, but like him and Tommy Reese cooked up yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they had McDermott in a blender for about half that game.
Judkins, it was announced earlier, Judkins will have surgery to repair a fractured fibula and dislocated ankle. He's likely out, or will likely make a full recovery 4 to 5 months.
Somebody said he's better than Herbert with the media. Well, then maybe he's. I mean, you can't even with some of these stands. Quarterbacks turn people into like stands.
Yeah.
They really do. Like me, I'm up here having a good time, but like, I'm not going to be in a chat room arguing with people over a quarterback. It's just I'm not going to do it. You know, just not going to do it.
Texans Raiders.
Oh no, this is your game, buddy.
Yep. So obviously, just starting with the big thing. You look at the scores, like, man, what happened to how were the Raiders able to produce offensively the way they did? Looking back through the tape, it was pretty much just a few explosive plays that allowed the Raiders to put 21 points on the board in this game. If you take away those explosives, there wasn't much going for that Raiders offense. But those explosives, the first touchdown drive, Geno hit Jack Besh on a explosive pass play at the end of the first quarter. Besh kind of ran away from coverage on a deep mesh, and then a couple plays later, Bowers on the stick nod beat Kalen Bullock there in man coverage. Bullock, I thought, played really well otherwise, but just kind of an eye discipline thing. Got caught looking in the backfield. Great play by Bowers to hang on through catch point contact from Miles Bryant there. And then the other two were two big plays by Genty. 60-yard touchdown reception. The Raiders split him out wide. He pulled To'oto out there. For any linebacker in the league, that's a fish out of water situation, being out on the perimeter. Genty just blew right by him. And then Genty had a big touchdown run as well, 51 yards. It was an inside zone play. The Texans initially fitted up pretty well, but the linebacker to that side kind of tried to fold over the top, make the play, just got caught out of his gap, and they bounced it. So I thought the Raiders' interior offensive line, they were able to generate some displacement there in the run phase, and I think if the Texans' defense has a weakness, that's where you can get them a little bit, is in the run phase on the interior. They're just a little boom bust. They either a D tackle slips a gap, creates a negative, or that interior defensive line's getting rolled off the ball. So Raiders did some good work there and kind of put that on tape for the rest of the league, whoever plays this defense in the playoffs. But on the other side of this, I mean, the Texans offense, you're down Woody Marks in this game. And I think it was a pretty sloppy day for the Texans offense overall. CJ missed a lot of throws, especially early on in that game. And, you know, they had to go to Jawar Jordan a little bit more probably than they want to. I think he can be a rotational back in this league. Just, you know, he's more suited for the perimeter stuff as opposed to the between the tackles things they asked of him in this game. But yeah, it just, for the most part, you know, when you kind of telescope out to the playoffs, a performance like this from the Texans offense, I think it concerns you a little bit because the run game for them, it hasn't reached a level to where you really consider it a strength. It's more just like a lever they can pull to get into manageable third downs. So when CJ's not nails, they really sputter offensively. So it's just going to kind of come down to CJ hitting throws down the stretch.
Well, I think that defense is the key to everything, and hopefully getting Woody back at some point helps them.
And they were down Aziz too in this game.
That's a big deal. He's an incredible player. So I don't know if it's close to time. What are we doing now? Is that the end of it?
You're gonna go get lost.
Am I getting lost in the triangle?
In the triangle flyovers.
In the Bermuda Triangle?
The Bermuda Triangle,
As
where
I walk
football
over the
games
triangle,
disappear.
Somebody said Herbert being an antisocial weirdo isn't fair to hate on him for, but I think it's still another aspect of his personality that has limited him in his career thus far. He's not an alpha. I'm sorry I platformed you.
Herbert?
No, but
he's not an alpha. He's dating a pop superstar. That's
the problem.
About as alpha as it gets.
Here's the problem. People conflate, you know, forward-facing media engagements with like how you lead a room. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part. Well, you don't know what you don't know out there, and that's okay. I'm not going to get all worked up about it. because I love Justin Herbert, but I'm not a stan. I just do this for a living. All right, time to go to the Bermuda Triangle.
I don't know, Jim. This one might disappear.
Safe flight down there.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Does anybody have any pot? Usually I have my pen. I forgot my pen, but I see a bowl sitting right there. Why don't y'all make like a NASCAR pit crew and pack me a bowl? All right? No. And get this fucking show over with. Welcome to the Bermuda Triangle. I got a few games I want to cover here, and I'm going to kick it to my one of my other Bermuda Triangle sideline reporters, Mr. Nolan Mert. Nolan Mert, I'll give you a second to open your umbrella.
A lot of rain here.
Yeah, I'll start with the Bengals and the Finns. Evidently, Joe Burrow's happy to play football again. It's amazing what playing in the sunshine and torching the Miami Dolphins defense will do for your love of the game. You've got a route, and Quinn Ewers, my boy, let me down. Really wanted him to go out there and light it up. Like I said, my kid wears Miami Dolphins PJs. And, it's not fun for me to say I hate the team that he kind of likes, his side team. I would love if they would find the answer at quarterback. If they find the answer at quarterback, they might be one of my side teams. How about that?
No doubt.
How about that, dude?
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis might be the guy. Might be the guy.
He pull him out of Bermuda.
He can pull him out of Bermuda. Listen, there's not really much to talk about with this game, so I want to give it to my correspondent here, Mr. Nolan. He's where are you? He's on the fringe of the triangle, and he's going to talk to you about Cardinals and who else played in this fucking game? Falcons?
Cardinals, Falcons, yeah. Chris referred to this as the Bird Bowl earlier. I think you could actually take that a step further.
The Super Soaker in
and
the
you
shot.
could call it the Dead Bird Bowl from the standpoint of playoff chances. That was the two squads we had playing in this one. Fitting, Chris, that it was played in Bermuda, because between the interceptions thrown in this game, one from each QB, and 13 total PBUs, there were a lot of lost flights.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
A lot of lost flights.
That's perfect.
But on a positive note, Bijan Robinson, 2,000 scrimmage yards. He reached that mark this season. He 92 receiving yards, 76 rushing yards. I can feel the wind as I'm delivering here. Third Falcon in franchise history to gain 2,000 yards from scrimmage for him. He did it right up the road from his hometown in Tucson. Obviously, the league leader in that category, ahead of James Cook and Jonathan Taylor. It's been an STL Memorial type season from our guy. Thank God for this umbrella. And another shout out, Kyle Pitts followed up his career night versus Tampa. Good day at the office for this for him in this one. 7 balls, 60 yards, and a TD. Chris, you'd be interested to learn that the British overseas territory of Bermuda uses the Bermudian dollar as their official currency. Yeah. Kyle Pitt's going to make a lot of those this spring in free agency. Ooh. So shout out to Pitts, Archbishop Wood alum, as am I. Roll Vikes. Any Philly locals in the chat? I know about the PCL.
Well, good for him. Back to you, me. All right.
I thought you were just gonna ear hole me with that shit.
I told the guys to dress him like Bill Murray and Caddyshack and fucking spray him with water. Man, oh man. Okay, so that was good. Hopefully lettuce is unscathed.
Unscathed, great umbrella.
That YouTube plaque didn't fare too well though.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Jets Saints. Cam Jordan and Taysom Hill possibly playing in their final home game. That's bittersweet, man. Like you get to kind of stop and appreciate their greatness, but you might not see them in Saints uniforms anymore. I think Cam Jordan's one of the all-time great Saints. Just an unbelievable player, man. When you're around Cam Jordan, you understand what he's all about, which is extreme physicality. Like, he's just the biggest, strongest, most energetic kid in your class. You know what I mean? Like, the kid that doesn't know his own strength. That's Cam Jordan. And that's kind of how he played or plays, because he had another sack Sunday, and he made $800,000 on this sack, dude. This was a big going away gift for Cam Jordan. If this is the last game at home, man, it was a pretty fucking profitable one. He was one of my favorite players to watch always in the NFL. Like one of the last pure power players, like really to have over 100 sacks. Think about guys that like pure power. Imagine Jared Verse having 130 sacks or whatever he's going to end up with. I'm talking about Cam Jordan. Mm-hmm. You're like, because you watch Jared Verse and you're like, damn, dude, he's undeniably a fucking wrecking ball. He's a block destroyer, but he's not going to be the finisher to have like perennially 10 sacks a year. And you see, Rams fans going through it right now where they're like, oh, he sucks. He's not fucking, bro, he's a beast. Mm-hmm. Cam Jordan, though, to play like that and to still be able to finish on the quarterback for 130 sacks in his career, guy's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Tip of the cap to man Cam Jordan and also Taysom Hill, who for a long time I was like, I don't know if I like this guy. Don't know if I like him. Like, what are you? You quarterback, you running back, you tight end.
Swiss Army knife.
You don't really talk any trash on the field. You just run through motherfuckers. It seems personal. But he's had an unbelievable career and somebody I have a lot of respect for. Also, Tyler Shuck with the win.
Getting shucked tonight. You're getting shucked tonight.
Guy's unbelievable.
Shuck and oysters.
Okay, Vikings, Giants. Not a lot of people at this football game. Cowboy, maybe you could look up a shot of the stands and throw that up during this segment. I think people would really enjoy that.
We got a witty in this game.
A what?
A white gritty.
Oh, white gritty. We don't, white gritties, not a big fan. Thinks it sets a poor example to my kids because it makes my kids think they can do it, and they really can't. They look pretty silly doing it. Also, J.J. McCarthy hurt his hand. My first reaction when he hurt his hand was that he tore a ligament. I don't know if there's been any reports out yet, but like the way they grabbed his hand on the sideline, because my right hand, okay, this right hand here, I can't flatten it. I have a plate in it from trying to tackle Marshawn Lynch with only my hand, which was a big mistake. But it was all that was available to me at the moment. I was tied up with like Breno Giacomini and others. But I had pins sticking out of it. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. When I had surgery on my hand and I had pins sticking out of the hand. They left the pins sticking out of the hand. They were like, go home, go rehab. Yeah. I got fucking pins sticking out of my hand, dude.
What?
Yeah, I used to go to the bar and go, and like, party trick.
And pull it out?
No, like not pull it out. You can't pull them out.
Okay.
You bend them a little bit, like. And
that didn't hurt?
It did hurt. It was a party trick.
You ever seen All About the Benjamins?
What?
When the guy All About the Benjamins, he has his wrist, like he has screws sticking out of it.
That's what happened to me.
Like a bar around it.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
What?
But it was more subtle.
Why?
St. Louis medical dude. It was
Seems
crazy.
like malpractice.
Yeah, well, ended up with a plate in my hand, which is fine. But the point is we were talking about J.J. McCarthy. Like when I did my hand and they tried to move my thumb, it's like the same thing. He like jumped. Mm-hmm. He like, the pain is so sharp and so bad. Like, who the fuck is calling me? How am I getting service in the triangle? Oh, it's Lane Johnson.
Oh,
I don't want to call him back because I'm live on the show. He'll be, I'm live.
I'm live
on the show.
He's watching you.
Send me a plane.
He's watching the show. He's calling you because he needs to come rescue you. It's like, yo.
Do you have something to say? No, I'm not going to ask him that. All good, brother. I'll call you later, bro. Man, so anyways, I had a fucked up hand. And when JJ, they grabbed his hand, my first inclination was like, that looked really bad, which sucks because I said coming to the game, like, that's kind of his audition. Like, if he doesn't play well down the stretch this year, they're going to be considering all options. And now you might not even be able to get to see it.
Right.
And the dude after the game, supposedly, he's in the locker room like this. Hold on, this is some crazy shit. You want to see what J.J. McCarthy was like in the locker room after the game? Supposedly, he's clapping with his bad hand. So just poor awareness. To not see Brian Burns. How do you not see Brian Burns? You got to get that ball out. I think that's what the hots are for. And on the other side of it, it was pretty interesting because the Giants, who have found their quarterback, and last week I said, yeah, you know what you guys asked me? I said, Cam Ward should be able to meet with the fucking head coaches. You guys were like, Jackson Dart? What about him? And I thought for a second, and I said, yeah, Jackson Dart can meet the fucking the head coaches. I'm taking away his head coach meeting privileges because they didn't even trust him to throw the ball. Bro, like, you go in the machine to see his passes. The first one's 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. I think they ran like 15 plays without fucking throwing the ball. Like, they came into this game and they were like, no way. And then they proceeded to run like multiple two-man routes. Like, he's back there ducking and dodging people. So, bad deal, Jackson Dart. Bad day at the office. Brian Flores, not fair. Maybe Brian Flores is auditioning for something. You think about that? You think about that? What do you think about that?
Blitz like a mofo.
Don't you?
Be a good fit in Miami.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Good fit in Miami.
Good fit in Miami. Yeah,
head
both.
coach job? Hell yeah.
Yeah, they say in Miami though, they don't like hard coaching.
Yeah,
You know.
that was the.
Got to be a cool guy in Miami.
Well, all the coaches they fire because they coach too hard
Right.
usually end up going somewhere and really shit in the bed. You know, like Vic Fangio or Brian Flores.
Right.
So, anyways, enough on that game. Oh, Abdul Carter, my dog. Shout out Abdul Carter, who happens to be a terror. He just hadn't had this statistical output to prove my point yet, but he's going to be all right, guys. He had like, I don't know, a bunch of stats yesterday. I'm watching him. They use him as like a linebacker, like a floater, kind of like they use Will Anderson against, who was it a couple weeks ago? He just ran through Colts. Was it Colts?
Yes.
Bortolini.
Just ran through Bortolini. They just fucking lined that big SOB up. And they're like, just go do your worst on the center. With Abdul Carter, they're like, you got a three-way go, dude. How's that possible? Because you're Abdul Carter, because you're always on an edge. He was unbelievable yesterday, attacking edges. Love the kid. Dexter Lawrence, I got to get closer so I can read this quote, was asked if Abdul Carter's performance today shows the rookie can respond to criticism. He says, yeah, for 1 week, Lawrence said. Lawrence added, greatness. Is that wild? Like, God damn, Dex.
Hey, tired of these rooks.
Yo, that's
Tired,
the those are the vets we had, though.
Yeah, that's the response. Like, I'm tired of this fucking ass rookie. He thinks he's hot shit, and it's like, bro, it takes some time. Like, yeah, you have one good game, but you're not hot shit. This ain't college anymore. No one's kissing your ass. Bro, we're having a losing ass season. And, like, you got to be prepared to go.
Yeah, no, I get
and do this
it.
every
I get
week.
it, Nate. I get it, Dex. I get it. But the kid's going to be really good. Kid's going to be good. You know, and I want to stand up for my dog. He was not watching pornography in the meeting room. That ended up being a fake story, did it not? Bet a bunch of you were shocked in the chat. No, seriously. I was walking around for a week thinking this dude was watching porn in a meeting.
Because none of the, like, I mean, how many players want to jump in and comment on that, but there was no, like, what kind of fucking story is that? Of course he wasn't doing that.
Well, I don't know. I've heard some sick stories about people. Seriously. Sickos.
Seriously.
Anyways, Jackson Dart, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Okay, Chiefs-Titans. Jeffrey Simmons is ineligible. He never reported as eligible. Did anybody watch this game?
Yeah.
Did you see what happened?
Yes.
Do you know what the total was?
Enough for that to keep it under.
Yeah, brother. Now, Jeffrey Simmons is a big man. He wears red sleeves. He's got an arm brace. And when he runs on the field, you can't miss him. And I saw him do this. So as much as I was on the side of the under, I'm going to file this under the Dan Skipper kind of thing, where it's like they just got it wrong.
He said after the game, I'm a defensive player. You see I wear a big arm brace and a red sleeve looking right at you, and I'm throwing my arm up and rubbing my chest.
Dude, is that what he said?
Me?
I just said the same thing.
Same thing.
You make a good point, Jeffrey.
He said he thought he was too big to miss.
I thought so too, dude.
So
When they
with a
missed Dan
situation-
Skipper, bro.
Or a situation like that,
Unreal.
They go back and replay all this stuff. Why can't they just go and check that? Because that's something that's if you miss it, it's so pivotal to the game. And if it's like if I clearly did it,
that should be reviewable.
That's what I think.
That should be reviewable because
it's hard for the refs too. They got a lot going on.
The argument against everything being reviewable is this.
Clear
Eventually, no, we're going to get to a point where everything's going to get litigated, which would slow the game down. If everything could be reviewed, then we'd be stopping every play to say, like, hey, there was a hold over there, and they'd spend, so they don't want to set a precedent to where, like, everything's reviewed. I totally get that. But when it comes to something as, like, innocuous as reporting or dead ball, like, you got to be able to review shit.
Because
you also should be able to review a fight.
Yes.
That would be lit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously.
How many times is the first offender gets away scot-free and the second person always gets caught? And sometimes the first offender will do a harder shove or a bigger punch.
Somebody got fucked on that, like, in the Bears game.
It was,
was it Burden? Burden punched somebody or got away with it? Or
I think so.
Anyways, for another day, for another Bermuda Triangle. Last thing, Cam Ward made some throws that were unbelievable. If you have the internet, if you have a friend with the internet, go watch. Seriously. Fucking guy. It's like baby Patrick Mahomes out there. Seriously. And I can't wait to watch Zero Star, the Cam Ward story on Tubi. Did you know this?
Yeah, I seen
Zero Stars?
Trailer.
The trailer for
Everybody needs to get fired. Like, everybody.
Yeah.
Because there's no rivals.com. Burn it down, dude. 0 stars. Major arm arrogance, this guy. Okay, last thing, and this is a not bittersweet, this is just bitter way to end. The only logical thing to do with all these new stupid fucking stadiums is to get rid of Arrowhead, right? Did you guys hear about this?
What?
Yep.
What happened?
Arrowhead's going away. Arrowhead Stadium.
Going to Kansas.
Arrowhead, the lease expires after 2030. The Chiefs are going to relocate to Kansas, pending approval. $3 billion dome stadium, 70% publicly funded.
How far away is like the difference?
Dog, it doesn't matter. Like, no, it's a good question.
You're saying like geographically, or when is this happening?
No. Like for them, like that stadium's going down. Is it like 2 hours away from where the current stadium is?
Well, everything's 2 hours away from the current stadium because it's a poorly laid out city.
Okay.
But
I didn't know.
yeah, but here's the problem.
So this is a good thing for them ultimately.
Well, here's why they think it's a good thing. Because they're going to get the Super Bowl. Oh.
But I thought we were done doing Super Bowl and Cope. Oh, it's gonna be a dome.
It's a dome.
Once every 20 years, they're going to get a fucking Super Bowl. And, I just, it's an iconic place. The NFL only has a few more. And, yeah, the renderings look cool. Got it. But that thing's going to look dated in 5 years. In 5 years, it's going to look like 2035's version of a toaster. Seriously. Because that's the way all these new fucking stadiums look. They look cool the first year, and then they look stupid as fuck. And there's no atmosphere. Dude, one of my favorite experiences as a sports fan was taking some edibles and watching Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen at Arrowhead in that playoff game. I'll never forget it, dude. The vibe of that stadium is unmatched. It is like retro as fuck. You got character, you got charm.
But you just said it's in the middle of nowhere.
That's not I'll drive. Dude, you could put the new one in the middle of the city. You can put the new one in my backyard. I'd rather drive 3 hours to Arrowhead, dude. Arrowhead is it's a church, dude. It's a football cathedral. And now it's going to be some, soulless, sterile football megachurch where the elements that make this game great don't even matter.
Damn, how many more years in there?
5.
Yeah,
damn,
lease is out in 2030, right?
Is that fan even going to be out? My man who was robbing
Chiefs
banks to go to the games?
Who?
The
Chiefs of Hollick.
He might not even be able to see a game in his
Well, I mean,
That's the stadium he was robbing banks to.
They need to put the Hunt family behind bars too.
Yeah,
if they're going to get rid of Arrowhead, dude.
Out for a while. He's getting out the next time they're going to do a stadium.
This is ridiculous. You guys don't seem fucking as perturbed as me right now, Bo. I can't hear Bo. Is Bo
I'm
mad?
legitimately sad.
I'm bothered by this. Arrowhead is a fucking elite stadium. It's probably my favorite away place we ever played. I think outdoor stadiums are elite. And I went to that Texans-Chiefs game last year in the playoffs. It was cold as shit, but it was an awesome football environment, man. Think about something about barbecue and tailgating for a dome. Just doesn't sit right with me. I'm bothered. I'm perturbed.
Yeah, that's going to be some bullshit. The new stadium is going to feel like gentrified barbecue. Fucking Kansas City, bro. Arrowhead, the smell of that place.
We're the same ones that was saying that it's too cold to play out there when you see helmets chipping off from hits when we're out there, right?
Man, listen, that's football, bro. You can't listen. I love Kurt Warner, but Kurt Warner wants indoor football. I've heard him talk about it. He's like, bro, like we deserve to see these quarterbacks playing in perfect circumstances. No, we deserve to see them battling the elements, man. That's what makes it great. Yep. Your kids,
the way the game's supposed to be played.
Your kids, chances are, your kids in 2040 are not going to know what it looks like to see a football game with snow falling.
Oh my god!
Think about that.
That's insane.
Don't tell me that.
I'm just telling. It starts with some shitty stadium nobody cares about, like Qualcomm, but then next thing you know, it's Arrowhead, Candlestick.
There's always college.
It's bullshit. Yeah, there's always college.
Let's save you. Woo woo.
Flying back.
Good to see you, man. That's awesome.
Wow, welcome back, Chris.
You hear about Arrowhead?
We did,
It's fucking terrible.
Yeah. Rough one. So hey, we're glad that we're back out of Bermuda, and
yeah, I'm super glad.
We're gonna hear from the Zone landline now.
Oh, good. Zone.
Zone.
Warning: this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Underage sale prohibited. Y'all know I'm a bit more selective of my nicotine pouches these days, so for me, the quality of the pouch is what I prioritize, which is why I'll pop in a Zone Wintergreen. 1 6 milligram a day is all I need, whether I'm kicking back and watching ball on Sunday, floating on the river with Cowboy and the rest of the crew, or breaking down film ahead of a show. Zone easily gets me locked in with its smooth feel and a variety of flavors. I only need one, just need wintergreen. Zone is always on your game day roster. Whether you like a fresh mint flavor or you're into a citrus flavor, check out their roster of options and use promo code GL20 at nickokick.com/zone for 20% off at checkout. Get my little one a day, boys.
And here we go, the phone callers.
Hey, Chris. I want to know
I can't hear
John Harbaugh decision.
No, you're good. I want to know.
Derrick Henry out of the game after 120 fucking yards on the ground and 2 TDs and looking absolutely unstoppable is one of the worst examples of coaching malpractice you've seen in the last few years, because I can't for the life of me think of a reason why they decided to do that. Thanks.
Mad about Derrick Henry not playing.
Yeah, dude, I'm mad. I'm mad too. I'm more mad the further I get away from it. It's like when we lost the AFC Championship a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I took it like a man. I went to sleep like 30 minutes later. But the further away I get from that motherfucker, I'm just mad, dude. I'm getting mad. And the more I think about John Harbaugh and assign hypothetical reasonings in his head for why he did that, what would satisfy me, dude? Why would he be out of the game?
Derrick
He punched
Henry.
a fan in the stands.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I was about to say, Derrick Henry said something to him, said you're a horrible coach. I don't know.
Yeah, but think John has a reason. I wonder what it is. And I think has he answered today?
I don't think so.
I feel aggrieved, dude. I feel like fucking aggrieved. Some people were chasing.
Phone call number 2.
Hey, fellas. Sad Lions fan here. Chris, I know you've been called a lot of names by Lions fans this year, but personally, I appreciate you
Thanks, man.
Helping me manage my expectations for this team. You've been pretty spot on. The green light preview did miss on this game a little bit, though.
Yeah,
Dr. Facts didn't prepare me for how the Steelers controlled the clock in the third quarter. Anyways, let me know what you think the Lions need to win a bowl next year. Green light's still my favorite NFL coverage. You guys are welcome in E-Course anytime.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Well, we will be back.
We run E-Course, boy.
I keep thinking about E-Course. I keep thinking about, like, maybe we should go back. Like, I try to pitch it, like, for a family vacay.
We got to do it.
Like, babe, I know this trip to Florida looks good and everything.
To Detroit?
But look at the deal I'm getting on this Airbnb in E-Course.
And we're going to build character as well.
Yeah, dude.
The pool table in the basement.
There's a pool table. There's
No lights.
There's a punching bag full of cement.
Yeah.
Fucking broke my hand on it. That was an
Good thing you got
all-timer, dude.
those steel pins in there, you know?
Yeah.
Else you'd be really fucked.
Dude, it was wild, Bo. It was wild. Can you see the scar? Can you see the scar?
Oh, yeah.
You zoom?
Oh, yeah.
Is that No, we're not on a TV set.
I can enhance. Yeah, I see it.
But anyways,
John Harbaugh, on the absence of Derrick Henry at the end of the game, he should have been in there.
Jim said that he should have been in there.
Coach.
He should have been in
Fuck
there.
me, dude. That's fucking insane.
I
bro.
love it. Blame it on the coordinators.
That's insane.
That's not what I take care of.
I think that the NFL. What's the guy's name? 94 for the Bears. I keep forgetting his damn name. He plays a lot too.
Booker?
Booker. I think Booker should get hit with a bill for like $400 million, whatever the handle on that game was. Honestly, I think seriously. I know he didn't do it on purpose, but that's kind of what I'm on right now this Monday afternoon, dude. Oh, it's scripted, dude. It's scripted. They were like, Jordan, Booker's gonna spear you in the face. This is a legit concussion now. Like, it's going to be legit. It's going to hurt like a motherfucker, but, you know, you can hang out in a dark room for a couple of days. Like, but this is the script now.
This is what we said. Something that is also scripted. The BetMGM sponsor message number 2.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Thinking about this script, what might be on it this Christmas Day. This holiday season, BetMGM is giving you the gift of another chance at first touchdown scorers. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back in cash if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you cash your bet. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Like a little holiday bonus from us. Don't miss out on this festive offer, and don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT to enjoy up to a $1,500 new player offer on your first wager. BetMGM, make it legendary. That's how you do a fucking ad read, boys.
Hey, let's dive into these moments. So we had best flight and worst flight. We already voted on best flight. That was that goes to Michaela Benthouse. Worst flight, we've got Chris with the Packers, Bo with the Seahawks remaining schedule, and Nate also with the Packers. Nolan, how do you vote?
Packers, worst flight.
Packers, worst flight. How about Tanner?
Packers, worst flight.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Dude, I am running away.
Boo!
The fucking wheelchair astronaut situation, diabolical. Now that we got some distance from it. See what I did to you there?
Sure.
You didn't know what I'm talking about even, I don't think.
I like that, Chris.
Gamesmanship.
Yeah.
How about
Partnership.
Bevel Conway, fellas? Nate, what's your Bevel Conway?
My Bevel Conway is
It's the same mentions every week, my guy.
No. It's okay. I've been here. I know what he's doing. He's filibustering silently.
yeah. Come back to me.
Okay. Your Bevel Conway? I can give you mine.
I have
Go.
an anti.
I can give you mine.
Go.
The damn Miami Dolphins, my future side team. Thank you very much. Those beautiful Dan Marino or Larry Zonkas, really, that they had on down there. I mean, it was an ugly day of football, weather-wise, and the whole thing. You turn on that game, it's sunshine. It's a lot of orange, a lot of teal. It's a good look.
Bam. Bo?
My Bevel Conway, dude, I loved every single meme from this and watching the videos of the Jake Paul fight versus Anthony Joshua. The photos of him, AJ smiling right before delivering that knockout punch, followed up by Jake Paul in the hospital, his face looking like there's a grapefruit coming out of it. Dude, that whole thing was so good. I saw it was just the photo of him paused right here and his jaws shattered over it. Oh, I loved it. It was great.
Yeah,
That's my Bevel Conway. I needed that. I feel like, just some small injustices were righted within our world with that punch. And
more to come. More to come on this.
And I got my Bevel.
Okay.
My Bevel Conway is Liam Cohen at the podium after a big win.
Yeah.
Oh, you picked the Jags? That's crazy.
Yep.
That's the funniest shit I've heard all day.
In a big market.
Yeah.
Talk his shit, firing back at Sean Payton after the win. Walk into your trap, take over your trap, belt to ass. I love it.
That's right.
Do you guys think Sean Payton intended that to be a slight, or it's just matter of fact?
No,
right? Like
I don't think he thought much of it, honestly.
But why say it? What does it have to do with anything?
Dude, if you were the president, I fear for non-Jags fans. Like, honestly, I think about some of the things you would do.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't matter. We just like the Jags do. We don't care about you non-fans.
I can't tell though, but I can't tell because that's at least 30% of your analyses.
It's not about you.
It's about the others.
It's not.
I think it's just the only games that he watches.
No, he watches more. He watches more.
I watch the terrible Bucks.
He's in here with 7 TVs on. Hey, listen, bro. We got to live stream the playoff game at the very least. I know we couldn't do it this weekend, but I was ready.
I'm down.
For the record, I wanted to see you and Calbs. Oh wow, that's not good.
Dr. Factious, someone said in the chat.
Dr. Factious. Yeah, that's a
vote for Bevel Conway.
And some people they like the other teams. It's very bad.
They like the Bucks.
It's
the
very
bad
bad.
Bucks.
Vote for Bevel Conway.
Not so nice to the Jaguars. Really, not nice.
Going to Jake Paul. Vote, Nolan.
I'm going with the Fins. I thought they were gorgeous uniforms.
There are other quarterbacks in Florida.
I'm gonna go with the Fins too. I like those jerseys.
What did he call Tua?
I hate the way you vote, Tanner. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What did he call Tua that one time? How did he say Tua's name that one time?
Because I don't evenly split it up like Reed, dude. Come on now.
Y'all are just not even gonna answer me.
Hold on.
You trying to find it? You remember when Trump called Tua by name?
Yeah.
He put him on that exercise panel.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? What did he call him?
Oh.
Well, we got to sit through an ad.
Sit through an ad.
God, people with ads in their fucking YouTube videos. Seriously, we just do it for the love of the game.
I don't know. You did a pretty good zone read a couple weeks ago, Chris, when you were screaming at the mic. That was funny.
Oh,
you know him? He's a modern day version of Lawrence. What do you think? He's pretty good, right, Lawrence? Pretty good. He is. Saquon Barkley was on the council.
Just fast forward through this part.
And Tua Tagovailoa.
Okay, take it off. Tagovailoa.
Valia.
Yeah.
Chris, you're running away with this one.
Damn,
3 to you,
for real?
1 for Nate.
Well, you're really gonna like my anti-bevel.
All right, let's hear it.
The puke Wake Forest uniforms that New Orleans put on yesterday. Those things, don't you have fucking focus groups for these things, man? That color doesn't exist anywhere. Like consumers don't go near it. That color? When's the last time you saw a fucking car that color?
These are some of the worst uniforms in football.
That was bad, dude. That was such a bad uniform matchup. Holy shit. The Jets was bad too.
And they put the gradients on the helmets.
And on the pants. Ew. I didn't notice that. On the back of the pants.
Yeah. It's a bad deal. Why are you zooming in on Taysom Hill's?
I started zooming and I noticed it, and then I wasn't going to stop.
Bro?
That zoom is...
That's some cheeks. I like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Cheek up.
Nate, what do you think, man? What do you think, bro?
Eating oysters.
Okay.
These guys.
Nate, what's your anti?
Anti-Bevel Conway is going to the shot of Trevor Lawrence getting hit in the small of his back on a dirty play by a Broncos player acting like he could not hear the whistle. And
it was a fun game. You guys won. Congrats. Now we're out here calling people like they're targeting. Get out of here.
That's the anti-level. And then Roach, putting all of his body weight. And I didn't know that's the new penalty. That's how they call it now, body weight.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of shaming, but that's it for a different.
But they call skinny guys too for that body weight. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Body weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take those are my
What is this?
Anti-bevel. Two mouth guards.
2 mouth guards.
Bo, what's your anti-bevel?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Saints uniforms at a pivot real quick. I saw this showed up on my timeline. The double mouth guard drip. I'm just can't get behind it. Like, call me an old head hater, but like there's something about that. Like, I get that they're playing Miami and he's trying to like do their colors, but it it just looks so bad to me.
You can't use either.
I'm not a fan.
And he's rolling
He's got
with
a shiesty on too,
and a hood.
That's
and a hood.
He's probably got a mouthpiece
They
on
usually
inside
already
there.
have
Yeah.
another mouthpiece
Yeah.
on. It's just too many accessories.
No, it's
Doesn't
like
that
spares.
slow you
I
down?
don't like that look.
It's like spares.
How does that not slow you down?
That doesn't slow you down.
That doesn't
He's
slow you
running,
down,
it's
man.
like
Wouldn't slow me down.
flopping around.
I'd make me go faster. I got 2 fucking mouthpieces.
It's like two
on my-
wind. It's like two fins.
It's like having a towel on your hip, bro. I used to have a towel on my hip to make me feel
That's
fast.
different.
Yeah.
Little
It's
swag
like a
rag.
spoiler.
Did you ever lose the towel? I have to go pick it up. Be like, I was running so fast.
Nah, but one time I sacked Blaine Gabbert and pulled his towel as I sacked him and just threw that motherfucker up in the air. It was cool as hell, but nobody was watching the game. So I'll just tell you about it.
All right, voting Tanner.
That was back when the Jags were sus. Yeah.
I'm going the
those
Saints
days?
unis.
Yeah. Huh?
Unis.
Remember those days?
No.
I'm going with
Damn,
Bo.
dude.
Bo,
Yeah, it's-
that is such a great call. That look mystifies me. You see it a lot at the college level. I'm like, what is
I don't
this?
get it.
What? I don't get it at
called
all.
You guys
swag.
know
Get off my
Get
fucking
lawn
lawn.
thing,
That's right.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bo's on the board. That's horrible. Best seat, Bo. What you got?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my best seat. God, I've been waiting for this one. My best seat. This happened about midweek last week. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Dolphins announced that quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, whatever Trump said, is benched for the remainder of the season. My best seat is Chris Long getting that ESPN notification that Tua got benched. I know my guy was just grinning from ear to ear, feeling so just.
Well, you know, and here's
satisfied with
best
that.
seat. I'll give you a best seat, and it doesn't have to be. We never broke down the Seahawks from Thursday. I meant to do that. That's the one I was sitting there like, you know.
Charbonnet.
I had to deal with it, glasses, bro. I felt like I had to deal with it, glasses. I feel like Fax and his Jags thing, you know. But again, I'm not going to make all my mentions about the Seahawks. I'm only going to mention them once. I got 2 takes
Let's go
landing
back to
well
Tua.
this week.
That's a good seat, Chris. You've been talking about that for years. You've been banging that drum for a long time.
And listen,
Who is your
Sitting
team?
on the
who
bench.
is my team?
Yeah.
In what?
He's
football?
Rob Lowe. He wants everybody.
In football?
Yeah.
The Bills, bro.
It's the Eagles,
the
but
Bills.
but if it's not the Eagles, it's the Bills probably. But I kind of like players, dude. Like I'm like that guy, and all our DBs used to be like this, where you know they'd be like hardcore, like Laker fans, and then one
Drake.
day, or they'd be hardcore like Heat fans, and then they're not anymore. Like they're just following the player. I like the players, man, because I don't know about you, but once you play, it's harder to be like a fan because you've been on the player side of it, so you don't look at it the same as before. You know what I'm saying?
Hell no.
You don't feel that way. Really?
Like, in what sense? Not really. Like,
Well, I just grew up a big sports fan. I'm just not the way I was, dude. Like, it's just, dude, I grew up painting my face going to Panthers games. You know, like crying when the Penguins lost. Shit like that.
damn.
You know what I'm saying? Watching hockey late at night.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I've worn many a cheese heads in my life. Like I was a huge Packers fan growing up.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
hard.
that was my team.
You're not
Not,
going
I mean, once you
you're
play
not
in the
gonna be that
NFL,
way
you can't
anymore.
really.
And you know what's funny?
exactly.
Maybe it's because because I was a huge Giants fan.
He goes, "What is your team?"
I was a huge Giants fan, and maybe that was the first team that I got picked up by.
Where's your allegiance?
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Sound like the guy that. What kind of American?
My team is whoever the Jacksonville Jaguars have on the roster that way.
Do you see what he just did, though? I took a moment to gloat about the Seahawks, and he goes, "Who is your team?"
Yeah.
My team is whoever I pick because that's how I pay the bills.
I know.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to keep track with you, bro.
I'm trying to keep track with you. Who is your team?
I mean,
Didn't you
who's
put
your
the?
team, Nate?
Wait a second. Didn't you put the Pats in
Raiders?
the Super Bowl? Wait, now you're the Jags in the Super Bowl.
So as analysts, we're supposed to put who we cheer for.
As an analyst, I'm not allowed to like different teams or tout my good plays, my good calls.
I just wanted to know. I just want to know who. I just feel like your team changes here and there.
See, there's an accusation in the question. That's all I'm asking.
There's no accusation. I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure the Eagles were still.
I said that I gave out the Seahawks to win the NFC West, which I should be running through the street on the internet, fucking, like, hey, look at me. I take 2 minutes to take the victory lap, and you go, who is your team? Who is your team?
Because someone, whenever their team is doing bad, all of a sudden, Bo Allen's not a Buccaneers fan.
Oh, look, now he's pulling Bo in. He's a guy blindfolded, just swinging.
How about
he's just swinging? He's trying to connect
I don't
on
have
something.
shit to
Here we
say
go.
about
A dog chasing cars.
Speaking of, let's give the best seat. Best seat, giving it to the legend Greg Olsen at the Panthers game. It looked like a great scene. He got to see his old team. Where that team's not really in this spot to be first place, and then you're playing against the Bucs, and you get to go to a game and get recognized, and you see the team win against a terrible Bucs team, and
you think I'm gonna be personally offended by this?
No,
But
you shouldn't.
I don't give a fuck. I
know.
want the Bucks
Why
to
are you
lose
upset,
so I can
bro?
party with my buddies on
upset.
Gasparilla.
No, you
dude.
just got all mad. You just raised your voice. You got upset.
that was his voice.
No, your voice.
It's his voice. You have to put the other earphone in. You're only getting one side.
You're right.
You like that, Tanner?
I'm not annoyed about the Bucks losing whatsoever. I'm just find facts constantly irritating. I'm not very subtle about it either. I don't think.
Bro, it's just my best seat, yo.
Chris, who's your best seat?
My best seat. Sorry to step on this, Bo, but I got this thing about millennial dads. Millennial dads had a great weekend. It was a major get off my lawn weekend. Obviously had Jake Paul getting his jaw rearranged by Joshua, which, I mean, I really, on a scale of hating streamer types, I don't hate Jake Paul. I actually have some respect for him because, no one wants to get knocked out in public. You know what I'm saying? At least you got to be able to be willing to
kind of
fight.
signing up for it, though.
Yeah, and he built a big thing. But it was nice to see him lose. And then Andrew Tate getting dog walked by some guy I've never heard of. That was incredible. And then Jack Doherty, who's way down, I don't even know why I'm aware of this person.
Oh, yeah.
But he and his little minions, who are all his size. He's got one giant bodyguard, and they kind of get off on irritating people.
Yep.
Did they pick a fight with
what's
that
that like, Dr. Fax? Getting off on irritating people?
He called you Jack Doherty. Fax Doherty.
Seriously. Fax Doherty. Yeah.
That's your new name. A Star is Born. No, but this kid, look at this kid. They run up on this the what's this guy's name? He used to fight in the UFC. He's 45 years old. But obviously, I don't know why they did this. They probably did it for clout.
This is his thing to do that type of stuff.
I know, but look at this dude. He doesn't even drop his phone, and he's just he's got his phone the whole time, and he's just dog walking little people. This is amazing. Look at him. He didn't have to kick that guy.
And then the funny thing is the black
guy's a square.
And all of his friends, Doherty's friends, are stupid because the black guy,
yeah,
he is his security.
No, I know.
And all those guys probably think that security is going to protect them, but the security is literally only protecting Doherty.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Literally only protecting Doherty, while all these other kids get beat up by this ex.
You literally just saw it. Doherty's, he's grabbing his boys, and then his guy comes and grabs him. He's
that's it.
Maybe the real
bodyguard didn't want the smoke either, though.
Yeah,
no, not at all. He threw one punch and was like, "All right, man, this is out above my pay grade.
I did my
Y'all
part.
you're gonna have to walk home." But the whole thing is, I'm definitely, I'm not quite an old man yelling at a cloud, but I do not love the streamer generation. I'm just kind of man, there's a lot of fuck shit going on. and so I kind of enjoy it when one of them ends up in a bind. I got to admit that.
L and a half.
Yeah, I'm like a 40-year-old man.
Believe it or not, Bo, I'm not this type of guy. I actually had a situation at the river, probably 3.
I'm gonna go take a piss.
Do that.
3 months ago, and there was these little freaking, I think, college age high school kids, and it was literally about, there was this one bully that was obviously the cool kid in the group he was just bullying this one kid to get in the water. The kid did not want to get in the water, so he got out of the water and grabbed this kid's phone, and this kid was about to cry in front of all his other friends with this guy being like, better come get it, I'm gonna drop it if you don't get in the water. And it was to the point that I out loud, not being involved, was like, yo, give him his fucking phone back. And this kid literally could have been like, fuck you, who are you?
Yeah.
But luckily he kind of felt here, man, take it.
Yeah.
And the kid and then they were just being little shitheads. They all started laughing it off, and they were all cool.
Dude.
But the kid, after the fact, he walked by to me, and he was like, dude, thank you a lot for doing that. And it was just dude,
damn. There's a lot of people that love an audience right now, and that because the whole thing now is you always have an audience. Yeah. So of course it kind of it's ingrained in you to.
It's not cool to be a shit.
Fact saved a damsel in distress.
Not a damsel, a little kid dealing with his shithead friends.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Then he found out that he was a Titans fan, and he took his phone. So what's next?
So we're voting. Tanner, where you vote?
I'm gonna do Chris best seat with the two news.
Because you're okay.
Okay.
So Bo's pick.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I was gonna say you're kind of older than you give off. I thought you were going with millennial dads. I'm like, you're itching to be a millennial. I feel like you're itching to be a
right
millennial.
on the cusp. Yeah.
You want to be one.
See, you guys are calling me that, but Jack
old,
Doherty and that crew is literally Tanner and his fucking shithead friend.
No, but there's a distinct difference, bro.
Yes, it is, and
there's
knows
a Nelk boy kind of vibe, and then there's he's not a bro. He is far from that.
Definitely not a Nelk.
Bro, he's a valley dude from fucking. He's from fucking over the mountain, dude. He's not a Jack Doherty.
No.
You think he's far from it, but it's a thin line. It's a thin line.
Who is your favorite team? Anyways, okay. I wonder that about you sometimes.
Talking about football for 5 hours a week on the air for the last.
Wait! You picked a team to win a division. Who is your favorite team?
No.
Going Bo.
Yeah, it's unanimous.
Chris has battled valiantly.
Oh, I'm on the come
here.
up, baby.
Yeah, you are. Worst seat. Nate.
Worst seat.
Denver fans. All the worst seat.
Worst seat.
My worst seat is
and then watching him beat
Denver fans.
No,
because
I was actually going to give it to the Detroit fan that got pulled down, slapped in the face by DK Metcalf.
But he might be lawsuit. He might.
Yeah, I know. He
might him up, dude.
He might lawsuit.
He already had a lawyer issue a statement today, so he's definitely lawyer.
So maybe worst seat. The people sitting around that Detroit fan, because maybe they get pulled into a lawsuit. Do you think, as witnesses?
They get deposed.
Yeah, as eyewitnesses.
And then they got
an assault case.
Are you thinking? Are you imagining that they're a jury and they have to be sequestered for a week? If you were in that section, you have to come with me. You got to give me your cell phone. Yep. And you're gonna be staying at the Marriott for 3 weeks. What the fuck?
So,
nah, dude, I really need to know.
Lions games anymore.
Oh my god! Imagine getting jury duty during the playoffs, Chris.
Oh, bro. Honestly, dude.
Imagine, in real life, it happens to people.
What was it? Was it? There was a funny show where the guy got out of jury duty. I think it was a Curb.
Was it Curb? Yeah.
Who was the guy who had to act like an asshole? He wanted to get out of jury duty. It was incredible. It was a great fucking episode. So good, I remember it.
Oh my god.
Do you remember this?
Is it the carpool lane? Larry wants tickets for the upcoming Dodger game. Before he can go, he has to get out of jury duty.
Yep. Oh, the Dodger game, bro.
Yeah.
The Dodger game. Oh, it's incredible.
Dude, I got a fun fact for you about that episode of Curb. There
Really?
was someone who was like on trial for murder, and they found him as an extra in the
Yeah.
background of that house.
in the scene.
Yeah.
In the crowd.
Yeah.
Wow. What if somebody gets
proved
found
his
in
alibi.
Detroit like that?
Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
because of DK. What if DK's undercover?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I got a worst seat.
Hit us.
My worst seat is also Detroit fans, but it's not because you might get punched in the face by DK Metcalf. It's because the end of the game, a bit of a confusing situation. Jared Goff gets a lateral from ARSB, tumbles into the end zone. Detroit Lions fans think they won. The refs are talking it all over. They get on the fucking mic. I looked this up because I thought it was so funny. The ref goes, ruling on the field is a touchdown. Cue applause from all the Lions fans.
That was crazy.
And then just a pregnant pause. He goes, however, the game is over and the Lions lose. All right, fuck all of you guys. We'll see you later.
Oh my
You
God.
said we were watching
so
the game, and Chris, you go, that guy's going to have his, tell everybody to have their car started to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, no question. No, I think it was like it was a fucking it was the worst bungling of a call I've ever seen, considering the stakes. Like people are like, "We won."
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, we won. Oh my God.
Psych.
Nope.
Chris, worst seat?
My worst seat. I'm gonna go last on this one.
You are, that is now.
Okay, cool. This is kind of like the snake draft during the gambling show. I kind of lose track. Worst seat. Golly.
Broncos fan.
JMU fans on the way back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We
Well,
had a
they're
good
probably
time.
really
good
happy
spirit.
and
Yeah.
everything, but like they're hungover at least, and that's a long trip.
Yeah.
That's a long trip.
We were the best group of 5 team this go round.
Yeah, maybe so, yeah.
Beat the brakes off Tulane.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we could have beat
All right.
I'm not gonna win. I just had to get one in.
Tanner, would you vote?
We'll do Detroit fans.
Which one?
Yeah. Bo's Detroit fans.
Bo's Detroit fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going.
However-
Detroit fans. as
However.
well.
The however fans.
However.
All right. Hollow Man.
Oh, Hollow Man. Okay.
Chris, go.
Yeah, I'll get NFL schedule makers. Look at Christmas.
Rough one.
Everybody take a look at Christmas. You got the internet out there. Look up Christmas NFL games.
We're going to have Bo Nix
We got
against the third
Thursday,
stringer.
12 p.m. Cowboys, Commanders.
Damn.
We got third
3:30
string
p.m.
Kansas City Chiefs. We got second
Lions,
strings
Vikings.
Josh Johnson.
No, it's good.
We got
this,
second
though?
string, I think, Vikings. Huh?
The one good thing that could come out of this,
What?
it's a, how do you say it the right way? A litmus test
Litmus test.
of if NFL is bigger than NBA. If
Oh,
we
it
can
definitely
get
is.
If we can get the viewing,
We're gonna win.
if we can get the viewing,
So maybe
championship-
worst seat NBA fans and NBA Adam Silver, because he's gonna
'Cause
be
if we
like,
get these
they are
numbers-
watching Brosmer. Brosmer just threw the ball back.
Chris Oladokin?
I got Wembenyama here. He just jumped from the fucking foul line and then hit a fadeaway 3-pointer. But you're watching Max Brosmer.
You really think we still gonna have more views? For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
And we're not even gonna be dicks about it. We're just
That's just how it is.
yeah, it's just how it is, man.
how it is.
You might have guaranteed money and like great lives, but like our sport's more popular.
Bo, who'd you have? Hollow Man.
Hollow Man. Oh, I got a good one. I got John Cena. All right. You know, he got he lost his last match, as Chris discussed at length last week. Then Cooper DeJean is a pick in the commies game, does his celebration, which is a 5-knuckle shuffle for those of you that don't know. All while rumors about Cooper dating John Cena's ex, Nikki Bella, are just circling. Tough seat to be in as you're a young stud for the Eagles celebrating your celebration while being rumored.
That's white on white crime,
Bro, that's
white,
wild,
damn,
dude.
young whites don't respect older white greats.
Bro, and you don't want to mess with these John Cena people, dude.
Damn. That's crazy.
You don't want to mess with them.
No,
They're almost as bad as Tua fans, Chris.
No, they're much different. They're not bad. They're just they're not in on it. Like you're like, yeah, but they're like, no, but it's the fucking real deal, Holyfield.
Man.
Nate, Hollow Man.
Hollow Man, this is easy. Got to be DK Metcalf. I don't know how much he gets paid per game, but the 2 game checks that he's not going to get and other potential money he might lose for this stunt of basically just letting a fan like mentally get the best of you. Like it's not worth it, and it's not worth sitting out 2 games when your team is like they really need you and you guys are in the hunt. And realistically, like you personally might be the guy that they try to pin this season on if it doesn't end up the right way these last couple of games without you. So
what happened?
I would feel like he's
what happened?
Element. DK Metcalf.
What about him? What happened?
He's suspended.
For doing what?
I forgot you were in the Bermuda Triangle.
No, we hadn't hit that yet. I did.
You got suspended for 2 games.
Just fucking with you. I'm
That's
just fucking
crazy.
with you.
Just making sure.
All right, my vote is going to DK Metcalf for Hollow Man. Tanner?
Put me down for DK.
DK? Nolan?
Make it 3.
All right. You,
winner, chicken dinner.
All right, we've got it's getting tight, boys. It's Chris 3, Nate 2, Bo 2.
Hey, Bo. What is St. Louis Memorial? What is this mention mean? What's the definition of it?
Somebody that balls out in a game that no one watches.
Baller in obscurity.
Who's your St. Louis Memorial?
My St. Louis Memorial. Thanks for asking, Nate. A game that no one watched. Taysom Hill. He surpassed. I don't know. He's like one of the only people to have over 1,000 yards passing, rushing, and receiving. As the only person to do it in the Super Bowl era. And I know that nobody watched that Saints game because their uniforms were absolutely fucking dog shit.
Most games with a completed pass, a rush attempt, and a reception. John David Crow at 22, and Taysom Hill just broke it at 23. Completed pass, rush attempt, and a reception.
That dude was a fucking pain in the ass to play against, too. I'll tell you that. He fucking... Oof.
Bo, do you have
That's
a question?
my St. Louis Memorial.
Bo, do you have a question for Nate?
Nate, what is your St. Louis Memorial?
I think it's going to go to – I think people watch this game, though. Seattle and Charbonnet, just something as simple as being the guy that pays attention all the time in meeting rooms, and when you hear a coach say, you always pick up the fucking football no matter what, you never know. And it's finally
huge.
One of those teach tape moments.
That was huge.
Where you hear something from a coach they say it, and usually you're like, when it's
this has got to win. This has got to win. This is the biggest thing this week.
Because, bro, like when they turned around and replayed that play, because I was yelling, like, yo, just pick up the ball, pick up the ball, because it's something so simple. But in the moment, you see so many guys let potential live balls just roll by them. And it's something that he didn't do anything special. He literally just picked up the ball and it ended up being a 2-point conversion and changing that game tremendously.
Chris?
That's a good one there. I was going to do
one of the most popular games that everyone watched.
He did ask you the definition and then like you were like being cross-examined. And then
I was so confused.
And he's like, I don't know if you saw the Super Bowl. All right. All right. Oh man, STL Memorial, you say? How about Gardner Minshew's ACL because it's not torn? Everybody came out of yesterday's game was like, man, guy tore his ACL. You can't tear his ACL. That's Gardner fucking Minshew. He's got a special ACL. Gardner Minshew's ACL.
It's kind of a bummer though. While that's true, like there's only 2 games left. You know,
I know it sucks.
How is he gonna play?
It sucks, but it's kind of badass when everybody's like, "Man, he had to have torn it." And he's like, "Man, I'm not that fucking athletic, dude. I'm Gardner Minshew, bro.
Wear some jorts, son."
And for a minute there, they thought he.
So he's not hurt. Like
no, he's hurt, but not an ACL.
Yeah, it's a different injury.
Like he's not gonna play.
No, but that's a big like to. How many times do you hear that guy's done? Like I went to bed last night and I heard he's done, and then you wake up in the morning, you get the good news. You don't get good news a lot during like MRIs on people's knees when they say
Monday morning.
And then here's the deal with Gardner Minshew. Total fucking badass. So he joins the group. He was going to tear his ACL if he actually tore it, and he would have played another what was it, like another series or something he played on it.
Yeah.
Like that he would have joined the Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz ranks. Carson Wentz, when he tore his ACL, People are like, "Why do you like Carson?" I'm like, "Bro, he was tough as fucking nails, man. He tore his ACL, and like, what did he play? Like 2 more plays, scored a touchdown.
LCL and PCL too, I think.
It was insane, dude.
Crazy.
Anyways,
winner for STL Memorial, Tanner.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I'm going Taysom as well.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill, the White Tim Tebow.
all right, game
ball.
Let's give it out.
Here we go.
Nate.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Game ball going to Mr. Parker Washington, number 11 from the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you don't know him, you should know him. He was the dude on the outside making Riley Moss look absolutely horrible in space. He is a guy that used to be a former number 4 wide receiver and mainly a kick returner and punt returner who turned into a valuable wide receiver, and he's been playing amazing with Trevor Lawrence the past however many games, and I'm giving my game ball to Parker Washington.
Man, that's a pretty fucking good one there. I'm going to let Bo go.
Whoa.
You're going to need to give me a sec. We're getting mobile for this game ball.
Oh, he's getting mobile for the game ball.
Is he in the toilet?
Oh, shit.
I'm going to give the game ball. I'm going to tell you who. I'm going to give the game ball. I'm going to give the game ball to Caleb Williams. I think that win's just as big as the Jags win for that team. Not to but like you think about kind of what that city's been through to feel like, oh my God, we really have a fucking dude. And again, it was like you could have done any number of things in overtime, and we'd be sitting here having a totally different conversation. The fact that he made the throw of the night, 2 throws of the night, staring down the barrel of a loss, the division, everything, dude, that was huge. So I would give the game ball to Caleb Williams. Maybe not the most spectacular game statistically, but got it done.
Oh.
Bo?
What is Bo doing here? Looks like he's about to electrocute himself on live YouTube. He's like, I've had enough of podcasting with you, Fax.
I'm fucking done. All right, this might not work. Dragging all my equipment around. This is my game ball.
Easy with the equipment.
Game ball goes to Dusty from Antique Appliance Restorations. Can you see this beautiful job that he did?
Look at those
on
appliances.
This stove.
The stove you were talking about.
Stove that I've been just so thrilled about. Hold on a second.
What is it, Dusty? Dusty at what appliances?
Antique Appliance. Look at how shiny Miss Clavel is. So
now,
she used to belong to a 93-year-old woman named Caroline Wilbrecht. Made a lot of delicious food in here. Had it restored, and Dusty just dominated.
How old is she now, Bo?
She is 93. Hold on. You can see. He made a little plaque for Miss Clavel. I don't know if you can see. Right there.
That is sick.
Little name tag. He did a great job. And I'm really excited about it. So, yeah.
What are you going to?
It looks great, man, but I got to wonder how she's feeling right now. Somebody else is using her,
Let's ask her. Miss Clavel, how you feeling?
Pretty soon. I'm just
feeling
saying.
Pretty good, Chris.
Okay. Well, it looks awesome.
No, Caroline's excited. I sent her a photo, and she was just absolutely thrilled, over the moon, excited to see that someone is treating Miss Clavel with so much love and attention.
Can I see the marble?
You want to see the marble? It's soapstone, actually. You can show
soapstone, even better, tougher. Did you steal that from me? Because I feel like you stole that from me, bro. You went all Arc Digest in my kitchen.
You're gonna
this
go
has
home
been in
and
production for a long time. There is that. There's Miss Clavel.
Your lovely wife is gonna be like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm gonna get home and there's gonna be no counter.
Yeah, but my actual game ball goes to Justin Herbert because he's a fucking stud. Also,
you're falling for the hype, bro. It's just because he's tall. They're always easy on the tall quarterbacks. You're falling for the hype.
Except for Trevor.
Well, because Trevor threw a shit ton of bad balls for like a year and a half, 2 years.
All right, we're gonna give our votes on 3 at the same time. Tanner, Nolan, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yep.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Caleb, who restored the oven?
We had one
Dusty?
oven, one Caleb Williams.
I went Caleb.
Woo! With the oven, you know,
What? Dusty?
oven should be a.
I feel like
Dusty gets no
white
love,
nail
dog.
polish, baby.
the nail
That shit was fire. After he throw that touchdown,
white nail polish.
he had the white nail polish.
Oh, ruining white nail polish.
No, like when he did his little celebration
Yeah.
in cold, the white nail polish
No, it was
stuck
sick.
out. It
You know what the
looked
coolest
fire.
thing he did was after he threw that ball, he put his hands right back in his fucking.
Yeah.
Shit
Well,
out
because he also just like to me, he was like, "Yeah, dude,
cold.
like
Walk off.
It's over.
Walk off.
Like it's Steph Curry taking a 3-pointer, dude. I'm not saying he's Steph Curry, but in that moment, kind of looked like one of those 3-pointers.
Chris and Bo, congrats! You tied for the
Thank
Week
you.
16 reaction.
We
edition
obviously
of
can't
the
win
Moment.
them all.
Damn.
I would like to dedicate this win to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are a really good football team. By the way, Lil Duval
Oh my
last
God.
night. You watching this?
He
I'm
hit
like,
you up?
bro, yeah. I'm like,
Oh my God.
I'm
You
like,
gotta
bro,
get
we
him
got to
on.
get him on the show, dude.
Bro,
No
if the Jags do end up making the Super Bowl, we have to try to do something with them now.
No question.
Like hands
question.
down, it'd be crazy.
Yeah.
We've got a game in about an hour.
And this
Oh
is
yeah.
weird.
What do we
This is
think,
weird.
guys? I
Can I-
need one.
Can I
and
say this
yeah,
real quick, just
mhm.
randomly?
Yeah.
Have you heard this this rumor about Puka like never eating a vegetable?
Yeah. Al
Like, how-
Michaels. He's Al Michaels.
How first off,
It's work for Al Michaels.
it's a lie. Like you've eaten a vegetable before, and it's just like I feel like it's a stupid lie to keep going and like people to be like. Just,
Do you think Al Michaels is lying?
Yes, I don't.
You think Al
there's-
Michaels is lying?
Yes. For one, you don't know what you were eating when you were a baby, when your parents were feeding you.
Oh, that's
So,
an
like,
interesting take.
So like you can't say that you've never had vegetables. I just feel like it's weird. And it's something weird to brag about. Like, oh, I've never had vegetables.
I don't think they're bragging. I think like when you find out the person hasn't had vegetables, it becomes like, hey, that guy is fucking.
And so
freak.
when people ask you, like, hey, you never had vegetables? Like, yeah, I've had them a few times.
He said he
But, like,
doesn't
no.
eat vegetables because they cause inflammation.
All right.
Puka or Al?
All right, so guys, what I really need tonight, is a winner, and I think, drum roll, I will be donating on the over.
I thought you were about to say the under.
46.5 is the total.
Yeah, I kind of like the over. It's also moving towards Indy. So all right, so if the line's moving to Indy,
You expecting Riley Leonard to play?
no.
Oh.
But what I am expecting is that like there is some respect for the Indy side here, and I'm kind of wondering how you imagine Indy playing a close game. It's not a
Handoff.
I don't think it's a 14-10 game. I think it's closer. Like you're gonna have to score in the 20s if you're Indy. I think they can get to 20. San Francisco's gonna score 27 points.
The Colts do not have a good defense, and Purdy was hooping last week.
Purdy was hooping, as you put it, and also that part, the run defense. To me, the Colts are gonna run the football. San Francisco is gonna move the football however they want, and so I like the over. Talk me out of it, chat.
Boom. That's
Chad, are
for
we
tonight.
cooked? Are we cooked?
We're pretty cooked. The last thing, just to cook a little more, we want to give a little shout out to you and the Chris Long Foundation, Chris. In 2026, the foundation, the Chris Long Foundation, is celebrating 10 years of Waterboy's impact, and the 2026 Conquering Killy will be the 10th anniversary climb.
Whew.
Pretty cool. You're going with some pretty cool people.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Who's going? Villanueva, Alejandro Villanueva,
Nate Boyer,
Nate Boyer, Gerald McCoy. I might be, and obviously our vets, man. We've been doing this climb for a long time. Here's our little
BJ
roster.
Ganem. We've got Gerald
Jacob
McCoy.
Rainey, who we know locally there. Jonathan Lopez, Mike Geismar, Kevin Shears. Oh, and Reed Dickerson.
Who's in the bottom left?
Whoa.
Dickerson.
So here's
Cowboy.
the deal. Here's the deal. They were like,
Oh, I got. If you ever want to hear the real scoop on climbing Killy, Cowboy, you call me up.
Well, I'm gonna
give it to him right now. Bro.
Yeah,
Tell
I'm
him
gonna
tell him give him your don't do it
Listen.
spiel.
All right. No, definitely do it. You're going to love it. You're going to do a lot better than I did. All right. I'm going to just tell you that right now. Just know that it's beautiful. It's, 3 or 4 days, whichever route you take, of beautiful, lovely hiking. You'll be with Chris, which is awesome. He'll provide some levity for you. But the last day is a fucking grind. And it's not even going up on that last day. It definitely is going up, but going down from summit after you kind of reach the summit, that is probably that's probably the hardest part.
Cranks and knees,
shit,
right?
I got to get all the way back down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, especially I fear for me. I feel like I have a feeling this year I'm going to struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been a couple years of, I'm 40 now and I don't know what it's going to be like, but I think you're going to crush it. I think you're going to smoke it. I think
Reed's
you're going to
crush it.
Like you're built for this. This is distance. You 100%.
I have a feeling I'll be struggling right there next to you, but I do want to say thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity.
Cowboy.
I cannot wait, and I can't wait to climb with these.
It was an easy
wonderful
decision. It's going to be an awesome experience, and again, like this is maybe 6 for me. So like I can tell you every time's different. So I can't guarantee you how it's going to go. Bo puked on his shoes.
Nice.
But I think if Bo did it again, he'd probably smoke it. It's just like it totally depends. So anyways, we'll be Super Bowl, and then we'll do that like 2 weeks after. So
it never stops around here. If you want to donate to the Chris Long Foundation and the Conquering Kelly Challenge for this season, go to waterboys.org/Conquering Kelly. Also, the link is going to be in the description.
Alejandro's also going to smoke it because he's got like a 6-foot gait. You know what I mean? Like the guy's just going to be. And
Pole.
How do you think Gerald's going to do?
I think he'll do good. I mean, G's a workout freak.
Strong-willed.
He's a bigger guy now. I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he's still over 300 pounds. So that's I mean the air's a little thin up there for 300 pounders. Believe me.
We're going to be all right, guys. And check us out. And I appreciate y'all tuning in and hanging with us for this long chat. One more time, give it up for the Jags.
Duval!
Take care.